Sacred Symbols, a PlayStation podcast, is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support our show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Greetings and salutations. Welcome back to Sacred Symbols, a PlayStation podcast. This is episode number 394. My name is Colin Moriarty. I have something in my eye, so I'm going to rub it while I introduce my son, Chris Raygun. Chris, you're looking very handsome today, if I do say so. Look at you.
Oh, thank you.
You're looking, you got a leather jacket on, you got your Yankee hat on, you got a button down on.
Yeah, I had an early breakfast with some fellers at a diner, which was nice. I like diners. So any excuse I had, I was like, oh, we're doing a diner today? Hell yeah. But I also have to pick up some friends from the airport after this. So I'm just kind of like, you know what I mean? Like just as minimal as possible. The second I'm done recording, just, you know, kind of get out and do it. Don't bother.
You got to drive to World Way.
Oh yeah. That's the journey starts at World Way.
Right.
At LAX.
Right.
But, you know, that's really my day.
Oh my God. I hated LAX. It's the fucking worst.
It's
the worst.
It's not good.
Hate it.
It's not good.
I also had this issue with like when, with my old phone where I would have to like stand in a certain place to like even get an Uber. Like once you get in a World Way, I don't know if it's because there's like so many fucking people just using their phones there or whatever, but it's like,
well, dude, now you have to take a bus to the Uber place.
Really? Oh, yeah, because it was probably causing a lot of traffic and whatnot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's annoying as fuck. I probably would just hop in a cab at that point, unless it's the same for them.
That's what I do when I go to JFK. I'm like, I'm sure there's a way that I can go into Queens from like a tram or something. It's just like, nah. Just get a cab. I'm
like that in New York too, getting in a cab, and Vegas. I also do that where I'm like, I'm just getting in a cab. Because it's like right there. It's like, yeah, you can wait and call an Uber, but like, well, why?
Yeah, there's no point. It's just as expensive. It's the same.
Right. It used to not be, but now it is. So
yeah.
Well, you look great.
Thank you.
You're looking beaming today. You're fed, that. Which is nice.
I am fed. I got some. What is it? I went to. This is a fun. So I've been looking for clothes that fit me forever. Right. It's fucking impossible. It's fucking impossible. Like I've kind of written it off. I like kind of just deal with it as it comes. But I was like doing some research and I was like, oh, because I have my friend's car, the person I'm picking up from the airport. I have his car while I'm here, and I'm like, oh, there's a place that makes clothes for short people specifically. It's like a reverse big and tall shop. Right. Small and ugly.
Tiny.
Small
and so I went there and I was like, yeah, you know what? Let me go there. And it's like this Chinese guy. It's this really old Chinese guy who like, he basically just makes clothes for every short person in Los Angeles. He's the only person there. So like he's, you know how like you in New York City, you go to the pizza places with the photos of like
right
celebrities in there. It's like the first thing I see is like Jason Alexander in there. And I was like, cool. Jason Alexander comes here. He's like, yeah, he was here yesterday. I was like, that's fucking ridiculous. So I got a bunch of this is all stuff from him, but I picked up a bunch of shit. And it's nice. It's good shit. Like he knows what he's doing. I don't know. Like he was telling me a bunch of like idioms. He was like using a bunch of turns of phrases that I don't quite think are real, but like I got the gist. Seems like a nice fella.
Cool.
But that was
good
cool. That was an interesting.
Big and tall, so short and ugly. Is that what you said?
That's what I said. That's not an exact opposite.
Short and tiny, Dustin. You said that's a good. Short and tiny is a good.
Short and tiny would be more accurate. More accurate. Small and ugly is probably a little bit mean spirited, but it was. Yeah, I don't know. It's a guy Jimmy Au, I think AU in Sherman Oaks. It's expensive shit,
Sherman Oaks,
but it fits. So
yeah, I mean that's the thing is that you get what you pay for. I think a lot with clothes.
Yeah, it kind of blew my mind. I forgot what it was like to wear clothes that fit me. I was like, I get why people have clothes instead of just like graphic tees.
Drapery. Yeah, graphic t-shirts. Like, it's funny. I was listening to something. I don't know what it was, and they were saying that graphic tees are just not popular anymore, really. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know. That's all I wear.
Yeah, I mean, that's my day to day. You know, as a graphic tee.
Yeah, like I've always. In hindsight, I always like, I very rarely ever wore just a shirt, like a t-shirt, just a Hanes black shirt or whatever. I just never really had, it was always something on it. I don't know. And I was always so excited when I got those as a kid. Like I remember getting one with a stormtrooper on it from Star Wars, not from Nazi Germany. And
important distinction.
Right, exactly. And I was like so excited. I was like, oh, this is so cool. And I would try to wear it as much as I could, but then I couldn't wear it too much.
Right.
Because then people would notice. And so on and so forth. I just wear the same 3 shirts over and over again. I don't care.
I like a solid black or like a solid color tee every now and again. I think it works well. The heathered
nice.
is nice. That's like it's like formal
nice.
Tee.
That's nice. Yeah. I should just get a few packages of just random colored shirts and just try to wear them for like Mac Weldon or something. Smacky Mackies, is that what you call it? Wacky
Macky Schmackies.
Macky Schmackies, that's right. Jesus Christ. Dustin Furman, executive producer. Good to see you, my friend. How are you today?
I'm doing just fine. I woke up with a little bit of a headache, and I think I might have just been slightly dehydrated. So I chugged a liquid IV. It is possible that before our midway break, I will have to pee during the show. Just giving you a heads up. That liquid IV goes right through you. Second thing,
pee on the show and then tell us a few episodes later that you did it. But I'm not saying piss yourself. Like get a cup or something and just do it really slyly. And then a few weeks, no one will notice. And then a few weeks later, say like timestamp 1 hour, 35 minutes, 40 seconds. I'm actually pissing into this cup and you don't even know. Very disturbing stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I have pissed in a bottle before. It's been quite a while. I do remember there was one, like with my youth group, we were going to a music festival that was in Illinois. That was like 12 hours away. And there was a kid that in the back of the van peed in a bottle, but somewhere during the process, he lost the cap.
Oh, Madonna.
So I remember him sitting back there, like,
no,
of his piss because he didn't want to like spill. So that was cool. But you guys are bringing up LAX. It reminded me that in a little over 7 days from now, I will be getting the LAX experience.
Oh yeah, you're going to see Brad
for the Persona concert. My Uber will be Brad, which Brad, I feel a little bad because he, being over in Irvine, LAX is not the closest airport.
Yeah, why don't you fly to Orange County or whatever?
It is
just not easy.
More expensive.
Yeah,
and all of the flights require layovers and are significantly longer.
Yeah.
So I tried to be like, I was like, listen, I would rather pay you to pick me up from this airport. I'd pay you the difference, which it can be like over $100. And so he's like, no, it's fine. So I'll just buy him dinner.
Yeah, well, you could just Uber to. I've Ubered in Orange County is not so bad. I don't think that's not ridiculous. You might have to do a relay where someone like drops you off at a convenience store because they won't go any further. And then you pick up another guy.
I have offered that, or at least at Summer Game Fest, I offered that. And he said no. He doesn't.
I've done that before. I did like a chain Uber. I chain
Ubered I've done that as well. Where they're like, I'm not going any further than this.
I chain Ubered all the way down to it's like maybe like a little outside of San Diego. I think like what was it, Oceanside or Riverside or something like that. That was
Riverside's in Inland Empire. Oceanside's in San Diego.
Okay, so so it was Oceanside then, but that's what it was called. I immediately was like, oh man, I feel bad for putting these people through this.
That does remind me, we haven't talked about it privately, so why don't we just talk about it publicly right now?
Sure, love that.
I'm getting home on Monday.
Yeah.
I will not be available at the normal stream time, but we can adjust.
Yeah, we'll figure it. For this Monday. No. Next Monday. Right. Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll figure it out. We can do it on the show on the stream next Monday. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, it'll be Monday the 26th. We'll have to slightly rearrange.
Yeah, we're going to have Brad on the next Sacred streaming episode and we're going to play Mega Man, which will be fun. I'm just so practiced right now, I might as well use it. It's like all I've played for weeks. So, okay, well, it's good to be here with you guys. Both looking healthy, awake, hydrated now, which is always good. You know, I took this, Tom Brady was the bane of my existence for many, many years, but he put out this Facebook series some years ago, and I remember watching it, and he said, he's a very healthy person, obviously, played into his mid-40s in the NFL. It's incredible. A lot of people don't even make it to 30 before you're eclipsed by some 23-year-old stud or whatever. And he said the first thing he did when he used to wake, like when he used to wake up, he still wakes up every day, and I assume he still does this. He would drink like a huge thing of water, the first thing.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because sometimes I get through the day and I go work out before dinner, and I'm like, I don't think I've had one drop of water all day. Like, just haven't had anything.
It's
and
bad.
You gotta get it going.
It's easy to forget.
Yeah.
Because it's someone you're never craving it, really. It's not you're never craving for water. It's not delicious, particularly.
Wait, let me turn the label.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Free promotion.
Free promotion for Smart. Dude, Smart Water, we're ready to take your sponsorship money.
Dude, they would never. You know why? Why buy the cow? You get the milk for free.
That's exactly right.
They are milking you.
Oh, hell yeah, they are.
They've been milking me and Colin since the beginning.
Yeah, oh yeah,
like,
definitely.
True.
We always had Smart Water.
I don't know what it is about Smart Water.
It's the bottle, man. I like the bottle.
Yeah,
it's a good kind of plastic. It's like it's got the nozzle on it if you get the right one.
Yeah, the sport cap.
Nice. Yeah, love a sport cap.
They're becoming harder to find, like Micah and I have noticed. Like the sport cap we can't find at all anymore. And then like in the places we go.
Right.
And it seems like they get a small shipment of these things. It's Smart Water, and then like the 5 people in my neighborhood or like my area that drink it like all hoard it. It's very similar to what I would say about the raspberry yogurt in San Francisco, where at Safeway where I lived in San Francisco, there was like, the yogurt, the dairy aisle or whatever. And there was like one little row of raspberry yogurt. And you could tell like there was like 2 or 3 people that would just buy all of them. So like you would get there and they would either be there or they wouldn't. Like just a lot of them or nothing. And then if they were there, I'd be like, all right, I'm taking them this time. God, yeah. Shout out to raspberry yogurt. Really good. Shout out to raspberries. Very humble fruit, in my opinion, but quite tasty.
The raspberries will appreciate that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I hope so.
Big raspberry thanks you.
Yes. We're going to start getting like got milk style raspberry commercials where it's like it's some stupid saying trying to sell raspberries, like avocados from Mexico.
Right.
I like those ones.
My parents used to have a raspberry bush that like grew naturally like outside of our house when we got it. And then a deer came and fucked it up.
Oh,
ate all of it, pulled up the root, kicked up a storm. I think it slept on it and died on it. So like, you can't even. So now we did. But those were so delicious, man. It was unreal. It was like sour candy, like completely filtered, or there's no like weird anything added to it. And it was so much better than like store-bought like I still don't understand. Like I've had raspberries since then and they've all sucked in comparison.
Yeah. It's a bummer. There is something cool about picking up. It's very common for like a farmer or someone in a more agrarian area, but like not for us, like to pick something off of a bush or a tree or whatever and just eat it. It's not a thing we really experience, And so I agree with you. Something about the Northeast, probably all the way in Pennsylvania too, is like raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, blackberries. Like they all just grow. Like you'd be in the woods sometimes and see shit like that. It's very interesting.
Yeah. I think there's a place where you can go and pick blueberries.
Oh yeah, that sounds nice.
Like
blueberries are great too, man. Oh yeah. Love a blueberry. Love a blueberry.
I like a blueberry in the context of something else. I don't know if I like blueberries by themselves though. I don't know if I could like eat them like as is. I like them in like a waffle.
Yeah, that's nice.
Or something. Yeah. I love a blueberry waffle.
Yeah, that's nice.
But then I eat like olives at the fucking can, so I don't know.
Oh.
People don't like that. People
Bring
don't like
out the
olives. It blew my mind when I was like, when I came out here, and a lot of people just like didn't like olives. I was like, oh, what is it? What is it? People are like, oh, it's an acquired taste, and I was like, oh, I've had them since I was like a child.
You've acquired it.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of a time where I didn't have it, so like I didn't understand that it was an acquired taste at all. I just thought like, oh, why wouldn't people like this? Just nobody does.
Yeah, olive. I always just now for years, just always think of the Maury Povich clip of the woman with the olives. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
It's like, bring out the olives. It's
she's afraid of them?
Yeah. And it's so funny because she's like, and she's so afraid and it's like ridiculous and she's so insane. And then he randomly, like they're in the middle and it's like a very somber thing. And then he's just randomly like, bring out the olives. And they just bring out, she starts screaming. It's so fucking funny. Maury Povich is awesome. Shout out to him. Love Maury Povich.
Looking back on that stuff, it's either completely fake or depraved and evil.
I think it's depraved and evil. I mean, that's kind of what I'm feeling about it, which is fine with me. I'm fine with something's got to be depraved and evil, and I'm going to enjoy it. Shout out to Maury Povich. Shout out to his wife, Connie Chung, as well. She was a interesting. Do you guys remember Connie Chung at all? You're old enough?
No, I don't. I mean,
She was
heard
like
that
a
name
big. She was like
referenced.
a huge broadcaster. I think she was on ABC, like nightly news or something for many years, something like that. And
Yeah,
she
I
was
don't know.
just like she was just like the Mura Asian lady. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think I remember hearing references to Connie Chung, but like I don't think I ever really paid attention enough to. I couldn't point her out of a lineup, you know.
Yeah, I feel like Dustin always has the excuse because he grew up like a Mennonite.
Right.
Okay, yeah,
here you go.
yeah, I see.
Put the Wikipedia. Yeah,
She looks familiar.
Connie Chung.
I
Married to
definitely would
Maury
not have
Povich.
recognized her on site though. That Connie Chung Povich, it's crazy.
Oh,
That name's
CBS
wild.
is where she was. CBS. Oh no, she did go to ABC. She 2020. That's right. Right. Okay. Wow, she was on everything.
Yeah, wow.
And so, yeah, good for her.
Yeah, man.
CBS. I'm sorry, NBC, CBS, ABC, CNN, MSNBC.
All the letters.
Connie, relax. Oh, she released a memoir in 2024, simply titled Connie. Welcome to Sacred Symbols of PlayStation Podcast. We go live 3 days early and ad-free over on Patreon, patreon.com/LastStandMedia. We could not do it without you. We appreciate your love, kindness, and support over there. Supporting us there at the different tiers gets you different perks, of course, and the perks spread to all the different shows in our network. So not only Sacred Symbols, but the Defining Duke Xbox podcast, the Punching Up Nintendo podcast. Why am I saying the?
I don't
Doesn't
know.
really make any sense. Summon Sign, our game conversation podcast, and so on and so forth. We appreciate you. Sacred Symbols Plus, also one of the major perks, which is our supplement to the show each and every week for our patrons. We did a deep dive into Kingdom Hearts just last week because I played it. Brad and Dustin were on that episode together. Johnson's elderly neighbor with the driveway cones wrote in. Now that is some throwback, by the way. Johnson was my old Chinese landlord in San Francisco. There was a guy on our street that would like put road cones on his driveway to stop people from from ever backing in or like just crazy shit like that near us. So that's just like I don't know how that came up or it's hysterical. He says, hi CDC. Colin, I wanted to give a shout out and kudos to the excellent Kingdom Hearts episode. It's a real generational touchstone for us born in the early 90s. I was turned on to the series when I started junior high in the fall of 2005. It was all the kids talked about it, and they would share the strategy guide around. Jiminy's Journal for me and probably many others created lifelong Final Fantasy and PlayStation fans. I'm convinced if Kingdom Hearts 3 came out earlier on PS3's generation, the PS3 would have favored over the 360. I mean, PS3 did win over the 360. I knew so many people disappointed by the Wade who became 360 guys. Thanks again. Thank you so much. That's so kind of you. I had a lot of fun with that episode. I'm glad people liked it. Kingdom Hearts 2 in the future, perhaps. Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories.
Dude, did you see the comments?
Yeah, I did read. Yeah,
there were people that were like, Dustin is right. It will end at Chain of Memories. And I'm like, I know.
It's so interesting. But then again, Brad is when I was talking to Brad on Summon Sign, and he was saying something which is true too. He's like, I know you, and it's not like you basically to jump around. Right. And I'm like, I know, and I know that about me, and I know that about me, if that makes any sense. So it's going to be very difficult for me to let that go.
Yeah. I think if you must play Chain of Memories, if you keep the mindset that Kingdom Hearts 2 is the goal, and if you want to believe, and everyone's saying how improved it is over 1, and that's really the pinnacle of the series, I would hate for you to quit. If you're going to, I'm not demanding anything, but if you're going to, I'd hate for it to end at Chain of Memories because that'd be a real sour note to stop.
Yeah, right. Yeah, not anything imminent for sure.
Yeah.
But I'll keep you guys apprised of the situation. Bucky Strip wrote in, said, good morning and afternoon, everyone. Colin, I want to give you another perspective on the whole Final Fantasy characters and Kingdom Hearts thing. They put them in there because it made them earn much more money. Kingdom Hearts got sales from both Disney fans and Final Fantasy fans from that decision. I love Final Fantasy, and that's the only reason I bought Kingdom Hearts when it came out. Great decision on their part. The amount of people that would not buy Kingdom Hearts because there are Final Fantasy characters and it is near zero. The amount of people that bought Kingdom Hearts because of the Final Fantasy connection is a lot more than zero. Thank you for your time. That's a fair point. I just don't think I don't know why they're there. It's weird. Still weird. It's always going to be weird for me, but that's to each their own.
Yeah, I would agree completely with your take. I mean, spoiler for the episode about them not being really utilized in a way that is all that of value. But I guess the thing in important context, this was pre-Avengers and pre-crossover obsession. It was way, way more novel in that time to have crossovers. So even if it was, maybe not that important to the story, it was so much cooler back then to have crossover.
What were the islands called? Where they're from? The island?
The Destiny Islands.
Destiny Islands. Yeah, it just was like, why are you here? You live here? You all just, where are your houses, by the way? Where do you live?
That gets retconned slightly.
What's the government?
Too.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah, well, okay. Insanely mild spoiler. In Kingdom Hearts 2, you see more of the Destiny Islands and you realize that island is like, from what I can tell, like their play island. Like it's where all the kids go to hang out. That's, that has like treehouse and shit like that. So you see more of the Destiny Islands in other games. And I think they were just like, yeah, really, we need to add more to this.
So it's an archipelago.
Yes.
Of some sort. Very
Play
interesting.
islands. They have an entire infrastructure dedicated to pretend those islands. It's insane.
Well, and then it's funny too, just because Neverland is in Kingdom Hearts, but it's kind of like a pretty close proximate to Neverland in that it's like, what is going on here? It's just a strange situation, but not as cool because Captain Hook's not there.
You can't think too hard about it, I think.
Yeah, I'm not.
Ultimately, right?
Yeah. Trust me. I'm not. What else? Sacred streaming Mondays at 1 p.m. Eastern time on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us for that. We're having a lot of fun with that. We just did our Metacritic draft. So check that out. That's free for everyone on YouTube. You can go listen and see what we picked for our 12 teams for the 10 top choices for each of our teams chosen for the calendar year for games coming to PlayStation. We'll see what happens. So go see that. I moved that from Sacred Symbols Plus to Sacred Streaming to make more room on, to make more room on Sacred Symbols Plus because we're having more interviews and doing more of that. So I was like, we got to do this soon before games start coming out, but we also need to get it over with. So we did it on Sacred Streaming. So that was fun. This coming Monday, so the day this goes live on YouTube for free feeds, we'll be doing a Mega Man stream with Dustin and Brad. And what I want to do is actually, I don't know how a poll works on YouTube.
I can do it.
But could you have 11 options?
I don't know.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, it would be cool to just let people choose the next one. We'll just play them in whatever order. Like, and I won't play them all, but like whatever people want to see or think would be fun. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. The last time I participated in a YouTube poll, I was on another person's channel and told that I won the debate. That was a lot of fun for me.
Oh, right.
Other perks on Patreon include, ad-free podcast, early access, the ability to submit your inquiries in the threads on the newsfeed for the various shows, Discord access, RSS access, Spotify access, so much more.
TJ Smash.
TJ Smash. By the way, I saw, because people have been tagging me on it, his Twitter account got hacked. So he no longer has access to his Twitter account. I assume that'll be remedied at some point.
Did they find out because it was tweeting literate things?
Yeah. He got fished apparently. And
sounds about right.
Yeah, like I kind of keep my powder dry with that because it's like, I guess that could happen to anyone. But I'm always paranoid when I get shit. Right? Mm-hmm. Like I always check the little lock thing in the corner of a URL where it's and like sometimes I stare at the URL and I'm like, is this a real URL? And I'll like just go to the base URL and
right.
I'm not, I try to, but like, I guess I could get got at one point in my life too, but I don't want to make fun of it too much because the shoe could be on the other foot, I suppose.
Yeah. You don't have to make fun of it. I will. It's crazy to me that as a sub, as like below 50, you're getting fished. Like, come on. That's a 50-year-old thing. That's like
right.
How old is Dagan?
Dagan got fished. He's 53, I think. Yeah. No,
I mean,
yeah.
The science checks out, guys.
Yeah, like I don't know. He's like I don't even want to know how it happened for him because like I'll just get annoyed. Yeah. I also think it was I think he misses it, but I was like, I think it's a blessing personally.
No, it's a blessing to be kicked off of Twitter. I've been trying, but they won't
to
do
no
it.
avail.
To no avail.
Merch, lastdaymedia.store. Keep Micah busy. We'll send you a t-shirt or a hat or a sticker or whatever you'd like.
Sacred Symbols is sponsored by Shopify. 2026 is still just beginning, and it's a great time for new beginnings like starting a business. You're in control, and one move can change everything. The time for action is now, and 2026 is your year to make your entrepreneurial dreams come true, all with the help of Shopify. Shopify gives you everything you need to sell online and in person. Millions of entrepreneurs have already made this leap, from household names to first-time business owners just getting started. For us, Shopify has been an essential tool for expanding our merch business, and I love how easy it is to build a website, list your products, and start selling online. Shopify gives you all the tools to easily build your dream store. Choose from hundreds of beautiful templates that you can customize to match your brand. Setup is super fast with Shopify's built-in AI tools that write product descriptions and headlines, and they even help you edit your product photos. Marketing is built in too. Create email and social campaigns that reach customers wherever they scroll. As you grow, Shopify will grow with you. Handle more orders, expand to new markets, and do it all from the same dashboard. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/sacred. Go to shopify.com/sacred. That's shopify.com/sacred. Hear your first this new year with Shopify by your side.
Case Johnson wrote in us on Patreon and said, gone unnoticed. Once upon 2 years ago, I was mentioned on Sacred 300. I was too sick to make it to the show, even though I still actually went to New York. You told me to contact DM you, and I was 43 and don't know if I did it right. But I did write you through Patreon, and you promised me a shirt and stickers. 2 years later, I still listen, and I'm still waiting. I love you, bros. Wait, so you had a correspondence with me where you gave me your address and we didn't send you anything? That seems very unusual, because I'm pretty good about that sort of thing. So
it seems like it was during a trip, though. It's possible, like travel.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, maybe you're right. Case, if that really happened and I believe you, why would you lie to me right to my face? I say it over and over again. You can tell me anything. I just assume you're telling me the truth. You can tell me anything. Ask many people from my past. You know, what are you laughing at, Dustin? Why is that so?
I'm laughing at Chris's. Watch on the document.
Oh yeah. I'm counting the spaces between. I didn't know you guys could see that. So on the document,
Chris, when I'm doing it, does it show?
Yeah, it does. Okay,
show my name.
That looks insane.
I was just watching you like go around this.
So on the document, it's Google Docs. So like we have this question written out, but like in between every sentence, there's like some of these are triple.
Oh,
that's what was throwing me off, and that's why I was counting. I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
Offer rescinded.
Yeah. First of all, stop, dude. I can't with it. You know, like how many times can we say it over the years? Like before the show even existed, stop double spacing. Jesus Christ. It is a typewriter type fit thing. It is over. It has been over forever. For fucking ever. 40 plus years, people haven't been told to double space. And if they're still telling you that, go read a book and tell me if they're double spacing.
This guy's an AI. That's the telltale, right? The telltale sign. They
and M dashes like I was saying on the show. Unfortunately for me, fuck. I've been copying all my shit off of ChatGPT before it existed. Mm-hmm. Case, DM me. We'll get it all sorted out for you. I promise. And you might still be waiting after that, but I doubt it. And again, you could be lying to me. You wouldn't be the first one, but I don't think you're lying to me. Enough with the double spaces. Like, could you, like, I can't even imagine typing and just being like, period, space, period, space. Like, what? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Calm down out there with this nonsense.
Double spaces. It's for the birds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tangent wrote in and said, "Hey, CDC, I have a funny interaction to share with you guys. On Christmas, I was wearing my sacred holiday sweater, and me and my girlfriend stopped by our local convenience store to grab something for lunch. The cashier saw my sweater and said, 'Hey, I like your sweater.' I replied, 'Thanks,' knowing he wasn't a listener since there was no stand down and he just liked the PlayStation part. My girlfriend proceeds to say, 'Oh, you listen to them too?' And the guy replies, 'Oh, I've heard a song or two of theirs. When did you guys start making music? And why wasn't I made aware of it? Hope you guys are doing well. Love it. Caught in a lie.'"
That's awesome.
Love it.
That sort of reminds me of, I think I told you guys this, that when I was at Cedar Point, this was like 3 years ago, and I was wearing our original Sacred hoodie. One of the guys that worked there was like, "Hey, nice hoodie." I was like, "Oh, do you listen to the show?" He's like, "No, I just like PlayStation." I was like, "Okay, cool." Another guy, not a guy that works there, just like a random guy around, was like, "Oh yeah, that's Sacred Symbols. That's Colin Moriarty's show. I've listened to that. It's kind of fucked up what Kind of Funny did." And I was like, "Oh, yeah." Cool. I was like,
interesting.
That was it. That was the whole interaction. And I was on the show at that point, but
you didn't,
like,
he didn't care about you.
I was like, "Oh yeah." I didn't say anything. I wasn't like, "Oh well," I was like, "Oh yeah, it was kind of messed up." And that was the whole interaction.
Oh yeah. It all worked out.
That is an amusing interaction. I appreciate that this was actually funny, but I do hate it when people say, like, "Let me tell you a funny story."
Oh yeah.
Because I'll be the judge of that. Just tell me the story.
Tell me a story. Let me tell you a story.
Yeah, and my chuckle or slight nasal exhale will be the confirmation that it is indeed funny.
Right. That's fair. That's perfectly fair. All right, let's get into some topics of discussion, stretch our legs, and then we'll get into the news of the week, see what we think of what's happening out there in the wild. Jonas Sparks wrote in and said, "Greetings, gentlemen. I come bearing sad news. A fellow LSM listener and one of my closest friends from childhood, Austin Mojo Mason, passed away over the holidays. He was an avid gamer who loved World of Warcraft and Kingdom Hearts. He thought every movie was critically acclaimed and never missed a chance to tell a great dad joke. Whether it was going to the library only to find it booked or getting fired from a calendar factory for taking a day off, he always managed to bring a smile to everyone around him. R.I.P. in peace, Mojo, you'll be deeply missed." Just to make sure that this wasn't like a joke I wasn't getting or whatever, I did look it up, and yes, this person did indeed die. Austin Trey Mojo Mason, 93 to 2025. He died on December 22nd in Kentucky. Very sad news. There is you can go Google his name if you want to find his obituary, but incredibly sad. Austin had a close-knit group of friends, it says, and together they simply enjoyed life, from playing Dungeons and Dragons to Friday night poker games to countless hours on PlayStation. Those shared moments meant everything to him. He was an all-around, and by the way, they intercapped PlayStation. I appreciate that. He was an all-around great guy, a loyal friend, a devoted brother, and a loving son. His easygoing nature, sense of humor, and genuine heart made him someone people were drawn to and deeply cared for. So, and he was buried in late December. So, R.I.P. in peace indeed.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
Now, he did preface by saying, "I come bearing sad news."
Right. And how do you feel about that?
That is sad. I appreciate that it is indeed sad.
Next time, Jonah, just say, "I come bearing news."
I come
and then
bearing.
Let us judge if it's sad or not.
The sad news, I guess, it's you're at least preparing someone to like let you know, hey, what I'm about to tell you is going to suck.
Right.
Yeah, it's valid.
It's not preemptively saying this is going to make you laugh.
Yeah.
So.
Fair enough.
That's a bummer, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Jonah, our best to your friends and obviously his family and all the rest. And maybe he's listening from above. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the spiritual world. It's a little scary to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think being a ghost. I feel weird about that because that means like there are people who are just kind of getting past the paywall. Right. by being ghosts. Right.
They have like an ethereal presence that can just listen to whatever. And
yeah.
The thing is that for our show, they can be listening to it right now and they're getting it earlier than paying subscribers.
Yeah, live. I don't like a freeloading ghost.
Yeah, it's a little unfair.
Yeah.
It's a little unfair. It's always like the thing about like, so like my grandfather's ghost is watching me masturbate. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, that's always been like an unsettling. Let me tell you something. If I'm a ghost, the last thing I'm doing is checking in.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
right.
like I'll see. Like if I'm a ghost, there's no urgency, right? Because I figure like, yeah, I'll see you. You'll get here eventually, right?
Mhm.
So like, why am I going to check up? Like, oh, let me peek in and see what. Oh, ooh, that's an interesting browser. That's an interesting link that you clicked on. I don't know if I want to see anymore.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much. And I like the idea of like a ghost being in a bedroom or something in your house. And he I don't know like what the rules would be, but he's kind of like you get into the room and you close the door. And so, hey, he's in the corner, like looking at a picture frame or something. Right. And he's like caught unawares. And then he can't get out of the room really. And then you start like, you pull it out and start doing something horrible or whatever. And he's just like in the corner, like horrified. Like, I can't believe I'm seeing this. Like, I didn't mean to see this. I just wanted to come and like kind of, well, you know, and now he's trapped because the only way for him to get out is to open the door. And then like, you know, some crate, you know, and then you scare the shit out of someone. I don't know. There's a lot of rules I have to understand still about this. I guess maybe we'll understand them eventually. But
yeah.
Trent Miller wrote in, said, hey guys, the Golden Globes were this week and they had a brand new category to recognize the best podcast. How can it be that there weren't any Last Stand Media shows nominated? Are you telling me that three guys talking about how clean their buttholes are isn't the best listening of 2025? Hopefully the Globes can get their act together for next year. Thank you for writing in. Who won? Who won best podcast?
I think Amy Poehler for her show. I don't even know what it's, but this is kind of the thing. It's like, this is like when what's his face? This is like when Will Smith was in like the YouTube Rewind kind of thing.
Right.
You know, where I'm like, what do you mean?
Brownlee.
Yeah. Like, what do you mean you have a podcast and that you won? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sure it's good. Right. I'm sure it's like whatever it is. It's very produced and very good, but there's no shot that Will Smith has the best YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Like, there's no shot that Amy Poehler has the best podcast.
Right.
With respect to Amy Poehler, I actually like Amy Poehler and Tina Fey a lot, but like, the fuck? You just showed up here.
Like, I'm looking at the nominees. Yeah, Good Hang with Amy Poehler. She won. Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard. I've never listened to that, but I know him. Call Her Daddy. I do know that podcast because there was like so much drama around it.
Wasn't Hillary Clinton on it? Oh no, not Hillary Clinton.
Kamala Harris, I think, was on
Kamala Harris.
And but I think that like it began at Barstool, right? And then they like the two people that did it had like a falling out, I think, or something, and they made a shit ton of money off of it. But Mel Robbins' podcast, do I know Mel Robbins? I don't know who that is. Smartless with Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and Sean Hayes. That's probably funny, but I've never listened to that. And then Up First, which is an NPR podcast. Doubt. So yeah, not a great selection of
not even like Conan O'Brien. Like Conan's podcast is great. Like there's like a bunch of clips from that show that go viral all the time. Like there was Jeff Epstein, the New York financier.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like how is that not here? What are we doing? Dax Shepard. What?
Yeah, we should be not only should we be nominated, but every one of our shows should be nominated.
Right.
Yeah. And then they show, they have like every camera on us and they're showing us in the audience, like waiting to win. I think we'll win one day.
Constellation.
Dagan goes up.
Dagan goes up.
They're going to play Dagan off for sure.
Yeah, and his speech rhymes.
His speech rhymes. He's up there for 40 minutes. It's like Chris Judge. At the Game Awards.
Dude, it's so awkward. I wish that we didn't stream at that time. I wish we were streaming because I'd be like, whoa. That was one of the. I forget about how like that was so.
It was amazing.
Awkward.
Wasn't that with like? Was it like Al Pacino like awkwardly standing in the side like a ghost? Yeah. Like off to the side.
Yeah, he's like, what the hell am I doing here? They paid me $50,000 to be here for a minute, and I'm like just standing here. Yeah, that was so. I still can't get over. No offense to him, but like the lack of awareness. It's like, what do you do, dude? This is not like your fucking one man special. What are you doing?
Yeah,
it's a show. It's a fucking anyway. Congratulations to Amy Poehler. Thomas Connolly wrote in and said, hey, Sacred Crew, I'm writing in for the first time in a few years to issue a stone cold stand down to my friend Dave, who wrote in last week under the username Banana M Cake or some such malarkey, shouting me out. He's a super rad hippie from upstate New York with a heart of gold and a cartoonish lifestyle. This dude goes out to bars with a mullet and a handlebar mustache combo while wearing a t-shirt that says Mommy's Little Meatball. Dave, you're a Lark Street staple, never change. Be well, gentlemen, and have an excellent day. Just wanted to acknowledge that. Yep, doxed. Done. Dave, you're a Lark Street staple is something like, I don't know what Lark Street is, but that's like something my own friends would say. So that's very funny. That's what really drew me to that comment. Appreciate that. Finally, we have a write-in from Isla Vainal, who writes, "Hey, Spunk synthesizers. With all this Stranger Things shit fresh on my mind, I was wondering if Colin has any interesting personal accounts or general lore about high strangeness on Long Island." She says in and says JK on Long Island. Any Montauk mysteries? Plum Island perplexities? To any who are unaware, Stranger Things was originally titled Montauk and is based on the Montauk Project conspiracy, which the source of is actually a creep, by the way. He told dozens of young men that they were brainwashed by the government and he could fix them at his house. But hey, they had to be naked and in a state of arousal. Love you, thanks. I brought this up many, many times. Long Island is deeply haunted and weird. And yes, if you go there, there are all sorts of things to see. And yes, I've done a lot of this stuff. You haven't even scratched the surface. Brookhaven National Laboratory, Camp Hero. There's like all sorts of Plum Island. You brought up Plum Island. That's you're not allowed to go. Like no one's allowed to go there.
I've never even heard of that. Plum
Island's like an island off of Long Island where they do like animal experiments. And there's a theory, and it's I don't want, like, it's a fairly compelling like conspiracy theory that Lyme's disease started there.
Oh.
And the reason is because it's like in the Long Island Sound, and then Lyme, Connecticut is like right there. And
I see.
And so it got in some ticks and people went over, and then like it got like, because like Lyme disease is so bad and like target, like it makes it like, isn't there shit like where you can't eat red meat anymore and shit like that if you get it and stuff like I think that's like, it's like weird.
There's stuff like, it's COVID-esque. Right.
Sense. It seems like very calculated and targeted. I don't know if that's true or not. It probably isn't, but yeah. So like I grew up, and obviously like there's a lot of shit like Amityville is on Long Island. And so, and every, I've said this a million times because I think it's so fucking funny, is that like, there's so many Indian burial grounds and weird things on Long Island that Bobby Flay was building a house on Long Island and like dug into some like Indian burial ground, and it was like, fuck it, and just built his whole house on top of it. So that shit's haunted. So I don't know, do I have any like specific stories? I know people that tried, I've been to Camp Hero and did all these kinds of things. Camp Hero is like a really cool like array of mysterious satellite dishes on the end of Long Island facing Europe. Brookhaven National Laboratory is a place where people used to like try to break in. I know people that like tried to like jump the fences and like went all the way into it or whatever. My Dagan's best friend PJ, his friend Jesse specifically. So yeah, there's a weird eeriness to Long Island, and dude, Stranger Things actually taking place on Long Island where it should have would have been dope. Would have been sick. I don't know why did they not set it there? I don't know.
I think probably my gut says filming, but like I don't think they like costs wise. Like I would imagine it's cheaper to film in Indiana, but I don't know if they actually did film in Indiana. You know what I mean? That would be my gut assumption, but who the fuck knows? Or they might have just wanted some distance from like their inspiration, you know? So
yeah, sure.
It's more original.
So anyway, you guys can go read about the Montauk Project. Has a lot to do with like time travel and all sorts of weird shit. Do you guys know what the Philadelphia experiment is, by chance?
Not by name.
No.
It was like this purported thing that happened where it's purported that the U.S. Navy teleported a ship. And it's like a whole story, like a weird story, because they say that like when it reconstituted, like it was all fucked up, and like there were even like people were like fused into the ship, and like things like didn't go, like it like apparently started in Philadelphia Harbor, like ended up in Norfolk, and then went back to Philadelphia, and all sorts of weird shit. So all that stuff is all connected.
Sure.
It's probably not real, but it's fun to think about. But yeah,
fun.
you can go read about Camp Hero and like the Air Force Base out there and all sorts of shit. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
Yeah, me too. And it makes a lot of sense. Like there are a lot of people on Long Island now, like millions of people. And obviously it's in the shadow of New York City. But my parents always remind me of this. It's like when they were, my mom was born in Brooklyn. They moved to Long Island in the 50s, and it was empty. Like even in Nassau County along Queens, it was all farms. So like they it was a reasonable place to hide shit. Like further out where I'm from, it's like there was nothing. And then over just a few generations, it became this like overrun place. And so, because I think through the lens now, it's like, why would you ever think about doing any of that stuff on Long Island of all places? And they're like, well, it wasn't always like this. At one point, people can afford to live in New York City, so they didn't need to live here. And now no one needs to live here because it's too expensive.
There you go.
All right. That's it. Let's get into the news. The big piece of news this week, my friends, is about the casting in Amazon's God of War series. A lot of people wrote in about this, but we'll go with Kellen Kessinger, who says, "Greetings, my fine lads. I just saw that Ryan Hurst was tapped to play Kratos in the live-action God of War series. I was curious to see what your thoughts were on it. I thought Hurst was great as Thor in God of War Ragnarok, and it's nice seeing him back this time as Kratos. I hope you all have a wonderful day as I take a post-workout shower thinking about all of you." It's nice. I appreciate that. So it's true. Amazon released a press release saying Ryan Hurst tapped to play Kratos in Prime Video's God of War from Sony Pictures Television and Amazon MGM Studios in association with PlayStation Productions and Tall Ship Productions. It kind of like, I don't know if you guys looked at the press release, but it's all bullet points. Are people that broken now? It's like 100%. When I was talking to my friend Sammy Barker at Push Square, who we always cite. And I think I've said this to you guys. I noticed that they're just doing like a sentence per paragraph now. Like, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, this is unreadable. Like and he was saying, I think that like their audience likes it and it comes from all these studies or whatever. But like that Axios style writing, if that makes any sense to you guys. And I'm like, this shit, we can't even read a paragraph.
Well, this is the extension of that Netflix mandate where they're like, everybody's watching the show with the phone in their hand anyway.
Right.
So just repeat a bunch of stuff so no one misses a thing. That's what this is.
It also just doesn't tell us anything here. Really interesting. Because each bullet point is like, Ryan Hurst is tapped to play Kratos. And then the next bullet point is he played Thor in God of War Ragnarok. And then the next one is Kratos' description. And then the next one is based on PlayStation's massively popular ancient mythology themed video game. And then the next one tells us a little bit of information because it says, and we know this already, but this God of War follows father and son Kratos and Atreus as they embark on a journey to spread the ashes of their wife and mother Faye. Through their adventures, Kratos tries to teach his son to be a better god, while Atreus tries to teach his father how to be a better human. We know that Frederick E. Otoy from Shogun, The Boys, and Fallout is directing the first 2 episodes. And Ronald D. Moore, legendary sci-fi writer, responsible for the Battlestar Galactica revival, which I'm obsessed with, but also a Star Trek guy and stuff like that from a long time ago, is acting as showrunner. Not new Star Trek, by the way.
Right.
Now, I'm not a Star Trek guy, but even I can tell the new Star Trek is garbage. And so that's all the information we have so far. They did release a picture. It's just an image of him, I think, with like a God of War statue. It's not a composite or anything. I think that's like an actual... Like we used to get these at IGN, like these they'd make like 10 of these and send them to people. The life-size statues. We had them all at the entrance. You remember that, Dustin? You were at IGN, right?
Yeah. They look cool.
Yeah, people used to love taking pictures of those, which I like. We had a big Fallout Brotherhood of Steel guy, and we had Lara Croft and all sorts of shit. So yeah, I think that's what it is. And looking at it based on the lighting or whatever. So what are our thoughts here, Dustin? Ryan Hurst, the actor playing Kratos.
Yeah, I have never watched anything that Ryan Hurst has been in. Obviously, I played God of War where he plays Thor. And honestly, I have no memory of Thor's performance overall in that game other than it was good. So it really doesn't mean anything to me. But looking at photos of him, he looks like he can play the part. But this comes back to something that we've been saying from the very beginning. I need to see him with, in costume and see how he looks in context of the world. And because this is going to look like, are they going to just make him a normal man size?
Yeah, I looked it up. He's 6'6". That's still not tall enough, but that's tall.
Right.
Yeah. You could generally get away with hiring a supporting cast that is on the smaller side.
Mhm.
You know
I think
what
that's what they do with Tom Cruise a lot. You know,
Yeah,
Scale everything else slightly
scale
down.
Scale everything else
Yeah.
down.
or they could shoot Lord of the Rings.
Well, I was
Yeah.
I was thinking, I don't know if I told this on the show or not, but like I was trying to remember the term for forced perspective, and I couldn't think of it, so I ended up calling him Gandalf tricks for a good 20 minutes. Like they use like Gandalf tricks, right? But yeah, they could. I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at it as like he looks the part. A lot of it's in the voice though too. So like I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure it'll be fine. This is as good as it's gonna get, really. It's not like Wallace Shawn or something where you're like, how the fuck does this make sense?
Yeah, let me see here. They have. Yeah, they don't. I'm just clicking around. There's really no more information. There's like a page for the download bio here. I'm not going to download something from Dropbox, please. I did recognize him though. I'm like, where do I know this guy from? Because I'm obviously not very learned on actors or whatever. But it's he's in Sons of Anarchy. I definitely know him from that.
Yeah,
plays Opie. And yeah, I'm looking at other things he was in that I might have seen. Like he was in Bates Motel. That was pretty big. He did a turn in The Walking Dead. Paradise City is still ongoing. That's like another Amazon series. His only video game credit is in Ragnarok, and I'm with you, Dustin. I don't actually really. I know it sounds crazy, but like I don't even remember that game. It's like that's so many games ago. Like, do you really remember it? Like, really remember the ins and outs of that game? I don't. I really don't. Like, I played it. I platinumed it. I don't know.
I could recall bits and pieces of it with varying vividity, I guess. But
I remember the original one better, I think, than Ragnarok. Interestingly,
Yeah,
I think so too. I think it's because again, it's like fresher, it's newer. You know, it sticks out a little bit more as opposed to like more of that new thing. I remember the pause menu thing where he brings you back to life, or like when it gives you the death screen, then he brings you back to life with
right.
That I remember.
He's in the Odyssey, the upcoming Christopher Nolan movie.
Oh,
So
cool.
That's interesting.
I'm curious about that.
Who does he play? Does it say? Nope. I guess he's not a main player because he's not in like the main list here, but I'm so far behind on my Christopher Nolan stuff. And also that doesn't sound very interesting to me. I'm not into like mythology and like ancient literature and all this sort of stuff. I'm like, I don't really care.
Oh, I think it's so cool.
Well, because I've said this to you before that I really don't believe that a lot of the things that we think we know about ancient societies are true. Like, I think that we put pieces of things together, but right. Didn't we talk about this about how like, it's so funny that there are entire philosophers, like their entire body of work is only known because someone else wrote about it.
Yeah. It's
like we don't know shit about what these people were saying or doing, you know?
It's like secondhand, third hand, but like, I think that's alone kind of interesting. It's kind of like how I think I told you once where it was like, I don't know, Abe Lincoln's real, I guess, but
right.
To the best of my knowledge, like, sure, but like he could have been two guys in a trench coat. For the fuck I know.
What's that thing? Yeah, last Thursdayism. Have you ever heard of that before?
No. What is that? I think I could guess.
It's the Amphilos hypothesis. I'm looking it up here now.
Is that anything before last Thursday isn't real?
Yeah, like that. There's no. It's actually like a young Earth creationist argument, I think, which is interesting. But the idea that like there's really no evidence of certain things even having existed at all. In other words, like everything can just be like spectral and fake, and you're the only real player. You know,
right?
It's interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting idea. I feel like that must have been a long time ago. I did something on Last Thursdayism, maybe on Kind of Funny. All right. So that's that. I mean, that's a big news story. Unfortunately, we just don't have much to say about it. I assume 27. I mean, definitely not this year, but we assume 27 for the rollout of this show. And again, to remind everyone, it's already been renewed for a second season. That makes sense. They're investing a lot into getting this right, and so they want to make sure they make their money. And I assume they also look at it and say, like, listen, Uncharted's movie did very well. Gran Turismo did well. The Last of Us is huge on HBO. Even on Peacock, Twisted Metal is like one of the biggest things Peacock's ever done, and it got renewed for a third season. So they're probably looking at all this and being like, we have God of War. As long as we execute, like, we don't have Twisted Metal or some bullshit, frankly, comparable to God of War. If we do this halfway right, and they have Fallout. right?
Yeah,
Amazon. So they know what they're doing. Like
Amazon seems to be the best steward for these things. Well, not Amazon. Well, I guess like HBO is there too, but like there is season 2 of The Last of Us, which is notably not as good. But Fallout's doing great, and yeah, I mean, I think I would assume late 27.
Yeah, that sounds about right. There's going to be a lot of
Holiday.
things to get going, I think, on special effects and all that stuff. So I'm sure they'll film, because I was even reading that about Stranger Things, the most recent episode, which they finished filming like 2 years ago or something, like, and then, or like a year and a half ago, and then they had to get all that shit ready to go. So makes sense. So we'll look forward to it. Please look forward to it.
It would have been cool if they would have done like today, on Twitter, everyone's posting the picture of Sophie Turner as Lara Croft.
Oh yeah,
it would have been cool to show him in costume for the reveal, but maybe they don't have that figured out yet. But
she looks pretty good, by the way. That's like an old school, like 90s Tomb Raider they're going for with her, with the red glasses and stuff. Very, very cool.
I think it's super cool.
Straight out of the first game.
And that's also Amazon, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
I think so.
I think so. Yeah.
Unclear who's playing Tom V. Still, we don't know.
That character's gonna haunt Tomb Raider in my mind for so long.
I can't wait. I mean, listen.
The anticipation of seeing this character is so high for me.
Yeah, right. What if we were responsible for getting that character totally written out or renamed?
Just completely executed. Nah, Torby's God.
Love that.
The sacred guys really, they shone a light on how ridiculous this was.
Don't be white. Wouldn't it be awesome if we were watching like one of the trailers and it's like, cutting between different things, and one of them is that, like, Tom be white.
Tom be white.
I'll fucking shit if that ever happened. That'd be so very good. Very good. All right, so we'll keep an eye out for God of War's Amazon series, of course, and I assume that will be. We didn't do it for Twisted Metal Season 2. I just wasn't really feeling it, but we'll probably do a series of reviews for that, I would imagine. God of War is pretty big.
Yeah.
And I'll be very interested to see how it affects the God of War sales trajectory as well, knowing that 2/3 of Last of Us viewers on HBO never played the games. This is a great opportunity.
Oh yeah, it'll be huge. But it'll be one that like most of us will be able to take part in too, because Amazon's like a default subscription for a lot of people.
Right. Yeah. That's what I always have Amazon because of the Prime delivery.
Right. Exactly.
It's funny. I had to pay my fantasy football fees. And for my serious league that I'm in with my uncle, and it's run by one of his friends, and I usually pay him by Zelle, Zelle, which is just associated, like Bank of America bought them or whatever.
Yeah.
And but they didn't want to use that anymore, so they use Venmo now, and I don't use Venmo, so I had Micah just send him the money, and I was talking to him, and he's like, "You got to get with the times, man. Like everyone has Venmo. It's kind of like Netflix." And I was like, "I don't have Netflix." So shut the fuck up. But I do have Amazon Prime. Have Amazon Prime. I have Peacock right now as well. But because there was a football game on it.
I have HBO Prime, YouTube, and I do have Netflix for Seinfeld. This is always on when I'm going to sleep.
Sure. Yeah, I try to circulate, as I say, but like my only permanent ones really are Spotify and YouTube. That's like basically it. All right. Next up, did you guys see this image going around?
Mm-hmm.
In Japan, it seems like there were some placards posted for, and this looks like it's in a, I don't know where is this? FPS Day X. I don't know what, this must be some sort of like convention in Japan or something, but it does look like a subway or something, but it's not. There is this placard for the Division Definitive Edition. Obviously real, huge. The placard is the size of many people. And they also have the Division 2 merch, and they're kind of like circulating things at this festival in Japan. A poster, Domin 0204 from Japan, posted this image, and it's got people talking. And Ubisoft, at the time we're recording, has not said anything about this. However, we are fast approaching the 10th anniversary of the Division, and people are looking to connect these things, and I think reasonably so. However, Massive Entertainment had also recently experienced layoffs, though they did confirm that the Division 3 is in development. I think what this all means, Chris, is that we're going to get some sort of PS5 port of the Division. It's important to note that the Division 2 is not on PlayStation 5. So there's potential for them to do both of these games. It's always been weird that they've left them behind, especially because both of them were long supported. Division 2 still gets content. And I'm kind of amped about this because I love the Division, and having now what I don't want to wish things into existence that aren't true and aren't real, especially because the Division 1 and the Division 2 take place in different locations at different times. But can you get both of these games together into some sort of package and let people fuck around with them? That would be so exciting. So this is obviously real. I assume it'll be framed around March 8th, 2016 is when the game came out originally. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'll be all over this. So where are you on this?
Yeah, like, I don't know. Like I had heard rumblings about this before even this image had popped up, and it's got me in kind of like a weird mood that I'll get into when we talk about what we're playing. But yeah, I'm into this. I really liked The Division. I thought it was cool. Like I dug the vibe, especially like that permanent Christmas. I think I said specifically on the show that like way back when, where like I really feel like The Division 1 did such an uncannily good job at capturing what it feels like to walk through New York City, like from a scale perspective. Like the streets are that wide and the buildings are that tall, and you do feel like dwarfed by them. And in a lot of games, like Spider-Man or whatever, they kind of squish it a little bit to give you a sense of speed and to make things like flow well. But like those like few blocks into Division was like, this is on point, and it felt good to play. Like, I don't know, there's a nostalgia for The Division for me. I didn't spend too much time on it. I kind of bounced off of it, but I always liked jumping into it. So yeah, once this comes out, if it's 60 frames per second on modern hardware, nice FOV increase, I'm definitely gonna jump into it. It's what I'm wishing for other things that we'll talk about later. But yeah, this is cool.
Yeah. What do you think, Dustin? I don't know where you are on The Division. If you enjoyed The Division, The Division 2 came out in 2019, of course. Both games are still active, so you can play them both right now on PS4.
Yeah, I was never really into either one of them. I did play a little bit of both of them. I think I was just more drawn into Destiny. And so while it was good, it wasn't something that if I was going to play a game like that, I would rather play Destiny. So it's interesting of them going back to the first one when, as you mentioned, there's not a PS5 version of Division 2. And I was looking, they're still working on Division 3. So clearly they have big plans still for the IP. Missed opportunity to not call it the Divisionive edition. You know, it's just sitting right there. I feel like it's perfect.
If Embracer was doing it, they would definitely
Divisionive. It's hard to say.
It's as you said, like there's good opportunity to revive and get these things going again. And I don't know where this all fits within Ubisoft's framework, because I remember noting when the split happened and they kind of spun off Assassin's Creed and so on, that they split off Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and only Siege. Not right. Like you would think they would take all of Tom Clancy, but a lot of that stuff has been left, and Ubisoft owns Tom Clancy's name and all of that stuff now, as we've talked about many times. So The Division, I think, is maybe the most important single component of whatever reconstituted Ubisoft exists, because they got all their shit taken from them. And so from that perspective, I am rooting for their success because it'll give them good stability. And I think The Division 3 will be very welcome, because I was reading some stuff about The Division 1 and 2, and I guess I played both games deeply, and I guess I don't look at it because I play them more as single player shooters, but people were saying there's like a lot of shit in those games that's actually quite forward thinking, including the whole idea of the Dark Zone, which is basically its own extraction shooter and so on. So like, it would be interesting if The Division 3 leveraged that, of saying, just in marketing, I mean, nothing can really change in terms of the game, but just saying like there is an extraction component, but that's not all there is here. So if you want that energy and that scariness and that tension, you can do that. But otherwise, play the game whatever city it takes place in, and play with your friends and kill AI enemies and all the rest. So I think I'm amped for all of it. And again, it gets me into Red Storm Entertainment. They were working on The Division Heartland for years, which I really wanted to play. and they canceled it. So
Yeah.
this definitive edition stuff is maybe the only Division we're going to get other than the third one, whenever that might come to fruition.
You know what made me think a lot about the Division when I was playing it? Arc Raiders. When I was playing Arc Raiders, I got a lot of Division vibes from it. Just like moving through like industrial spaces and kind of like trying to find shit and like shooting the drone aspect of it. I feel like I remember there being drones in the Division. It's been a long time. I dug the Division 2 quite a bit when I played it. But like Dustin said, like Destiny was always the thing pulling me away from it. But now that Destiny's kind of like not real anymore, basically, I'd have more time and more interest.
All right, let's see. Anything else to say about the Division, about Tom Clancy, about Ubisoft? No letters from the audience about this, which is not a huge surprise. I'm very excited for the official announcement, and I just want to see what it is. I'm not getting my hopes. Just the original one would be fine, but it would be cool. I wonder if maybe what they'll do is that the Division Definitive Edition for 2016 and then the Division 2 Definitive Edition for 2019. Or is for 2026 and 2029, I should say. Guys, I saw this news and I was so amped about it. It's circulating now widely, but I saw this just being popped around by some people on quieter parts of the internet. A trophy hunter and streamer named Rob Thanatos wrote on Twitter, all PlayStation games by the publisher Thy Games or The Games, THI Games _DE, because they're German, seem to be unlisted from the PlayStation Store. They had the fourth most games on PSN. It's unclear why, and he listed has this list of publishers, and they had 1,194 games on here, and their games apparently have been suddenly batch deleted from PlayStation Network, and no one really knows why. And it seems that it is because of some shovelware thing, maybe, or something that some covenant that they broke, I guess, within the rules or whatever, because obviously they've been publishing their shitty games for many years and suddenly everything gets pulled. And there are a few publishers that are even worse than them. But these are the jumping. Have you ever seen the jumping something games? So like the jumping
sushi.
taco. Yeah, right. There's not much to say about this other than get fucked. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Love it. What loser behavior to not only make games like this, but then release them by the tens, by the dozens, by the scores, by the hundreds, over 1,000. Who do you think I've said this before and I mean it. Who the fuck do you think you are? Flooding the PSN like that, having no respect for like the geography of the PSN, for other developers, for like putting something out meaningful. You're manipulating trophies. And that's the only reason people buy this shit. And buy,
Yeah.
It is my hope that this isn't like, I'm still dreading that this was a mistake. But I don't, how could it be a mistake? Like Push Square wrote that they went and like looked for dozens of the games. Like they're just not there anymore. Dustin, what's your theory on what's going on here? Is it because of the shovelware? Did they break some other rule? Some people's theory is that they're doing asset flips, and that is not allowed by the rules.
Yeah. My biggest question was why now? And so while I would want to believe that Sony is actually taking an initiative to clean up the PSN, it's more likely that they broke some kind of rule or did something, and that is what caused this. But it's just so stupid. Like, it's funny to me. Like, you think about like people. I think it's good this happened, but at the same time, I can't be too excited about it because it's like if you let someone in your house and they shit on the floor and you kick them out, okay. But let's say they do that for 4 years, and then on year 4 you're like, okay, time to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, it's kind of your fault that you let someone come in and shit on your floor in your house. Sony has let them pollute the PlayStation Network for fucking years, and now it's finally time to go because they broke some kind of rule. It's like, no, I mean, our theory is that they broke some kind of rule, but it's like, no. It might be just too late in some ways for the PlayStation Store unless you make a hard stance and slowly start to shift the tide on it. But I don't know. This is something we've been complaining about for literally years now, and it's only worse. The thing about these jumping games is, yeah, they're horrible. It's slop designed just for people to spend $2 to get a platinum trophy that I don't know, to make number go up.
Yeah, like it doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, it's stupid. But there are so many other problems with the PSN. I would argue that are even greater problems, such as developers that are making AI flip games of whatever's popular on Steam and then trying to confuse people on PlayStation into buying that. And it's like, instead of Peak, a game that's only on Steam, on PlayStation Network, it would be an AI flip game called Mountain Peak. You know, it's like, are you asleep at the wheel, Sony, with this stuff? Because you're not doing it. You did this, which is good. But again, it's not enough.
They could, the thing is, and this is what the original tweet from Rob Thanatos says, is like, they have like, the 11th biggest publisher on PlayStation Network is Sony with 666 games. Very nefarious. But if you just got rid of like 8 or 10 of these publishers on here that obviously are just flooding the zone. And I don't want to throw them all in the same, because like East Asia Soft is the top publisher. And I've worked with East Asia Soft. They release real games. They just release a lot of them. Like they're signing games, indie games from all over the world. And so it's like, and the same with Radalaika, which is the second biggest publisher. They publish real games. They do put easy trophies in their games, but they are real games. But when you're getting to some of these publishers, they don't exist by virtue of the game. They exist because people are buying them for easy trophies. And I encourage people to go watch a video of what these games are. It's literally like a sushi, and then you just press the X button and it just jumps. And literally the trophies just pop in the corner the entire time.
Yeah.
And then you delete the game and get rid of it. That's why the games exist. It doesn't make any sense, to your point, Dustin, why they let the network get flooded with these games for so long. I make the argument that I don't know who's making money on this. They might be making a little bit of money on trophy, but it's like, you're selling your games for $1. You're getting 70 cents on the dollar, and what, a few thousand people maybe care. It's like, what are you even doing? And that's why I say, Chris, it's like, who the fuck do you think you are doing this?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's dude, you have to, like, you're not or you're not overselling it, really. Like it really is, like, a lot of the games that are under this banner are games that, I'm not even shitting you when I say this. I could make these games in like a week. Probably less than, actually, like maybe like 2 days. A screen, a jumping sushi, like I can do that. That's crazy. Like, no, like, I'm sorry. Like, and look, as far as like this story goes, I can't bring myself to feel any type of way about it, because I like we've established, I do kind of feel like this is just a technicality, mainly because this is, again, like Dustin said, like, this is just not, it's good that these games are gone, but this is nowhere near the most egregious shit going on the store. Like it's up there for sure, but like it's not like prime target number one, so it doesn't speak to any like intentionality on their part outside of there's probably a technicality, there's probably a rule they broke, they probably found an excuse to do it through that, almost like getting Al Capone for tax evasion type deal. Mm-hmm. But like, you're a walled garden, or you used to be, like, you're your own private platform. Like, you don't need to catch them doing something. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you can That's just exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. And it behooves you to do that. I would think it behooves you to act that way. So I don't know. I don't really feel, I see a lot of people celebrating this, and I get it. And I'm with those people. But I don't feel any type of way about this, because I don't think this was for the reasons that we all feel it should have been for.
It's interesting. Yeah, because I totally agree with what you're saying from multiple perspectives. Is number one, it's what I always argue, because people are like, well, it's a free market and you should have the right to sell your game. And I'm like, so if you make like a dinnerware, like let's say you're a dinnerware maker, you have the right to just go to Walmart and be like, we demand that you sell our dinnerware in your store shelves and on your website. It's like fucking nonsense. It doesn't even, like, that argument doesn't even make any sense. Like, it's your right to say no. You don't have to be like Nintendo seal of quality level, even though that didn't really mean anything either. But at least they cared at one point, like Nintendo did. And I was saying this on a show I was on recently, that there used to you used to have to go through a process to get a game out. So even though shovelware existed forever since the Atari days, you had to put a little bit of effort into it. Not everything was ET. Like I had brought up the example of Carnival games. I don't know if you guys remember that game. That was like a Wii game. It was like the biggest Wii game outside of Wii Sports. And they used to sell that, as you guys might recall. Like it used to be like a little display on the counter of like GameStop or like at Walmart or whatever. And I think they were $20 or something like that. But it's like, okay, but you had to make the game, manufacture the disc, put it in a box, find buyers. It took more effort. And when you look at a game like Carnival Games, it's like, this isn't shovelware at all comparable to a lot of this trash, because you just have there's no friction anymore. Sony will give a dev kit to anyone. It's not that difficult to get one of these games up, especially if you use some of these engines. You can just buy assets. Like you don't have to make anything unique. And it's exactly what you're saying. Like, I don't get who wins. I make the argument, and I'm so frustrated that Sony has never been asked these questions, or at least they've never answered them. It's like, are you really making money on this? These games have to pass certification. They have to be published. They have people monitoring them. You're making hundreds of dollars maybe on these games, maybe a few $1,000s. How does that even justify their existence just from that perspective? It doesn't make sense. So so I agree with you, Kristen. I would say this is one of the biggest culprits in terms of volume. The other side of what they need to deal with are the copycats. Mouthwasher or whatever, like whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, this isn't unacceptable that you're even publishing these games. They don't just appear. Like, I don't have a clear conduit where I'm like, whatever I want to go on the PSN is going up. It's like, that's not the way it fucking works. And it's really becoming annoying to me that they've let it get to this point, and they could become great champions by fixing this problem. And are you going to be able to fix they've already ruined the trophy system, right? They've already done all these other things, which is why I keep telling people you got to earn trophies for yourself. And to your point, Dustin, I don't even understand why you would want those trophies. I realize this. I have some quote unquote, and I've said this many times, easy platinum trophies from the PS3 era, especially, that still took you 10 or 20 hours. Like, those were considered the easy. Go play Up. And in 15 hours, if you get all the collectibles that are like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs or something, it's like you still had to play shit. And I remembered when, what was that? My Name is Mayo came out.
Yeah.
And that was the first
game.
Right. And those were the first examples where I was like, I don't have those trophies. I'm like, really? Like, you're going to just tap this thing and get it? Like, what? And I guess it was funny and novel at the time. Like, and they were doing it kind of, I think, as with some intentionality, as kind of it's the antithesis of those guys that put the trophies in where you have to play the game for like 500 hours. Or like 5 years, but people just reset their PSN or their PlayStation clock to get the trophy. And the whole thing was the metagame about how you did that to get the trophy. So I think it's cool to be subversive, but this isn't subversive. This is fucking crazy. And
it's volume, dude. Right. It's like I remember like kind of shitposty games. Like I remember like back in the 360 days, especially I think there was a game called I Made a Game with Zombies in it that I really liked. It was just a twin stick shooter, but it had like this ridiculous song. Like you could tell like the developer like made the song himself, and he's like singing his heart out. And it's like, this is fucking dumb, but it's like, it's at least somebody made something, And like there was there's another game called No Luca No. Do you remember this, Dustin? Do you remember No Luca
maybe.
No? No Luca No is a game where you're literally just a hand and you're trying to keep your cat, who is a PNG of a cat, from eating cereal. So every time he would like come on the screen, you would like push him away. And it was stupid. But that was like maybe like you'd get like maybe like 5 games a year like that, that I could remember that stuck out at all. But now it's like every day there's like 1,000.
We need people making
and
shitpost games for the love of the game.
Right.
Not
Exactly.
for the trophies.
And so I'm really trying to think like, what do you get out of it? And it's like, do you really, because they release those press releases sometimes where it's like, we have 22,000 games or whatever on PSN. And it's like, do you really? And like, do you really want 22 or whatever the number is? Like, why would you even want that many games? Like, that's insane. for the illusion of optionality, right? Like, come on, man, and choice. Give it a rest. Don't. This is my big thing, and this is what I posted on the one that guy posted on Twitter. I posted back to it is like, don't stop. Like, keep going. Like, destroy these fucking companies. Everyone knows what time it is. Like, there's no indie company of any repute that wants this shit to exist because they all understand what time it is. It reminds me a little bit of there was a story going around last year or 2 years ago of an indie developer that released a game on Steam, and their game, just like in the order of like games that were published, and then their shit was just pushed down like 5 pages because EA just updated a bunch of shit. And it's like, and that, like, I know that doesn't seem to matter to people, but that might have been it for that developer. Like, that might have been the only chance to be seen. And I just think about all of the indie developers that don't have the advantage that, like, say, Lillymo does. Like, I am a huge advantage for Lillymo. We talk about all of our games. So we have games that sold fewer than 5,000 copies, and we have games that have sold 40 or 50,000 copies. And that's awesome. And that's extraordinary. But not everyone has that advantage. They need to rely on the organics, as it were, like placement, publishing, seeing something, and then you're surrounded by the jumping taco. Get fucked, man. Have some respect for like the system. Have some respect for other developers, for players. Like, and if you're buying, I'm sorry, but like if you're buying these games en masse and like getting, like, that's loser behavior. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't want to tell you what to do with your trophies. I think you have to earn trophies for yourself. But like, if you're supporting this and just earn, like, for what? Whenever I see someone with like 500, 600, 700 platinum trophies, I'm like, there's no way. And then you always go look, and it's bullshit. So you have a big number, and then people go look and find out that you're fraudulent. Come on, man. Come on, man. All right. That's it for that. Oh, Drew. Oh, yeah, we didn't read your inquiry, but that's just too bad, Drew. I went on a fucking pontification instead. I wondered what you thought of this. Our friend Reese Elliott over at Alinea Analytics estimates that Forza Horizon 5 has officially surpassed 5 million copies sold on PlayStation 5. That is, as he notes, $300 million in revenue. The game is from 2021. They also released other numbers to kind of show how things were doing on PlayStation otherwise. And what they say is that Forza is at 5.1 million. And then Gears of War Reloaded is at 572,000. Indiana Jones is at 491,000. Flight Sim at 166,000. And Hellblade 2 at 50,000. So huge drop off there. Obviously, we know numbers from the first wave of games, like Sea of Thieves did really well. I think it sold more than 1 million copies, maybe even substantially more than that. Obviously, Pentiment was never going to really move the needle. I think Hi-Fi Rush did fairly well because it was so novel. Yeah. I mean, I bought it just so I was like, I can't even believe that this is here. This is so weird. So pretty strong performance there. Dustin, thoughts on Forza Horizon 5? And by the way, the Forza Horizon 6 release date for Xbox and PC leaked. It comes out in June. That makes me feel fairly certain that they'll get Forza Horizon 6 out on PS5 this year.
Yeah. So it's interesting just because last week we talked about GT7 and its popularity and success, how it's the biggest GT game ever. But it's cool just because Forza Horizon is so different. It's clear that there is it's the same market, but a different market for a more arcade style racing game. And it's funny just because Sony was kind of on this track at one point with games like, well, I guess kind of like Drive Club, or with I don't know, does MotorStorm fit in being like Horizon? It's been so long.
Not real. I mean, not really, no. Because Horizon's more like open. MotorStorm's still a track-based racer.
It's arcadey.
It was like
but
more
it is arcadey. Yeah, sure.
It's arcadey. Yeah.
So clearly there is a demand, a desire for arcade racing games. And to be clear, Forza Horizon, I played some of one of them. Maybe it was 4. I don't know if I've played 5 at all, but they're very good, high quality, great games. And so it's no surprise that it sold so well on PlayStation 5, where there's a demand for something like that. It's funny looking at this this article from Alinea Analytics about Hellblade 2 only selling 50K on PlayStation 5. I feel like that's a game, if they would have released that day and date on PlayStation, it would have done way better, just because it would have had mystery behind it. But by the time it came to PlayStation, everyone knew it wasn't very good.
Yeah, I think the same
So
for
they just skipped it.
Indie, I think, is the same. Not because it was bad. A lot of people really loved it, but and I don't think it's bad at all. But just and it came out in December too, so it would have been like perfect for, like, they probably would have sold twice as many copies. I think they know this. It is interesting though, Dustin, the Horizon 5 numbers nonetheless being so strong. Man, they must be just. I wonder how that's going to affect Forza Horizon 6, and maybe there is some argument to space them out more on PlayStation. Maybe you don't release it this year because it's like, well, maybe there'll be some gun shy people that don't want to buy it after having just bought Forza Horizon 5. Maybe you want to space it out a little bit more. Maybe they feel bullish about its back catalog potential, considering the fact that they've sold so many copies. I mean, they always toted the number of players on Forza Horizon 5, which was huge. But this must be substantially more copies sold than any other platform, I would assume. Maybe PC did comparable numbers. I don't know. Chris, any thoughts here on Forza Horizon 5's performance and the potential of Forza Horizon 6 coming this year, since we know the date now will be in June on Xbox?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me too much. I mean, I figured there would be this kind, like, the racing genre is kind of like, it's very not populated, or not as populated as I remember it. And so, like, it debuting this strong, I remember playing Forza Horizon 5 the first time and being surprisingly taken with it, considering it's completely outside of my wheelhouse. The only thing that really kind of got in my way of getting into it deeper was the fact that I think famously they shadow dropped Halo Infinite multiplayer really early, like I think a week into that game being out. So it kind of undercut it for a lot of people, including myself, but it's a strong fucking game. And so, yeah, it's cool to see it exploding like that. It's definitely, they're definitely thinking about what this means. But I think, yeah, I mean, is Forza Horizon 6? I think, look, we talk about like, oh, Forza 6 is coming to PlayStation, but like, I mean, like, yeah, it's all coming. But this one, obvious.
Yeah. Other performance here. Let me see here. They have other numbers. Oblivion on PS5, 1.1 million copies. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Doom: The Dark Ages at 500. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 at 227. Ninja Gaiden at 206. Age of Empires at 147. Age of Mythology at 111. And Outer Worlds 2 at 135. So this is indeed an Xbox.
It is indeed.
And we very much appreciate it over here on the PlayStation side of things. And congratulations to Playground on such, I mean, that's huge for them. I'm sure they're getting some nice bonuses for that as well. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. And speaking of Xbox games coming to PlayStation, last week we had buried in the show, because it happened during the show, that what is that? Avowed is coming to PlayStation in February, but we also have word that, and this comes from Video Games Chronicle. So there's a developer direct on January 22nd, so a week from when we're recording this. And it's going to show some new Xbox games, which are kind of more third-party games now as a publisher. And we've been curious about Fable, which is going to be at this show. And Video Games Chronicle writes, quote, Fable was announced in 2020 as part of the Xbox Game Showcase. The game, which is a reboot of the Lionhead RPG series, doesn't currently have a release date. It's understood Fable is also in development for PlayStation 5. So there's that, and we're looking forward to that day and date as well. We have a write-in from Claire McMaster who writes, hello, Sacred Bros. I know the level of Xbox fandom or appreciation varies greatly among the LSM family. For you three specifically, I would guess the disappointment in the direction of the brand bothers Chris the most, Dustin next, and Colin the least. For me, I've been one of those all three console guys for the last 4 console generations. And even though I'm more of a PlayStation and a Nintendo guy, I'm still feeling a bit depressed about one of the big three basically on life support as far as being a hardware platform goes. What are your thoughts, especially with the upcoming Xbox Developer Direct, where it's rumored most of the games shown, including Fable, will be announced as a day one PS5 release? Going forward, is the new exclusive for Xbox simply the fact that their own first-party studios titles are free, in quotes, day one on Xbox Game Pass, whereas they cost money on their competitors' platforms? What say you? Dustin, how are you feeling about all of this? I feel like it's over and written and done with at this point. I don't feel much of anything about it, but he is right that I'm not pleased about the turn of direction because Xbox is dying as a hardware brand. I don't necessarily want that, but I am pleased that we're getting more games. It's like so now we're getting all of your games and all of our games. It's great. No problem here.
Right. Yeah, it is. I think the thing that concerns me the most is that I just don't like unchecked Sony, and not to say they're not fully unchecked, because there is, of course, PC and Nintendo hardware that they also need to contend with. But I don't know. Xbox is a nostalgic brand for me, and I'm sure for Chris too, playing the original hardware, and particularly Xbox 360 was where I was at that time, because the PS3 was just too expensive for me at the until later on when there was price cuts. So I'm kind of in the same spot where I've always bought Xbox hardware, but if it is a PC hybrid and the main benefit is that you can get Game Pass and get those games on that service, then I have zero interest in the next platform. I'm not saying it wouldn't have interest to anybody. It's just for me, as someone who has my own PC and now my old PC is my living room PC. It's just like I don't, or a PlayStation down there. It's like I have multiple options to get those games, and I really am just not all that interested in Game Pass outside of occasionally getting it for a game that I'm on the fence on, which then I just cancel when they give me my money back.
Right,
for.
right.
Anyway.
It's the best of both worlds.
So it's a little, it's sad to see him go, but I'm not surprised. It does feel like, and I'm sure that the primary Xbox leadership lays in bed every night thinking about this, that they were like, we were almost there.
Mm-hmm.
But as you've always said, Colin, they just flew a little too close to the sun. They lost it all.
Yeah, they shouldn't have gone Activision. They shouldn't have gone for Activision. They shouldn't have gone for it, especially with what we're going to learn about what's going on with Call of Duty shortly. But
yeah,
they shouldn't have gone after Activision. I think it would have been totally different if they just went after a different target. They undid themselves. There's just no doubt about it. It's not even an argument at this point. Chris, do you have anything you want to say about this? Fable on PS5, that's going to be a little surreal. I'm not going to play it, but I'm sure a lot of people are going to. So,
no, I'm definitely. I mean, I think I said this specifically in one of our. I can't remember if it was a draft or like what it was one of our specific, like themed episodes of what we're expecting on PlayStation 5, and I said Fable. Like, I think of course. As far as like, look, I don't know. Like, I mean, I think Xbox is awesome. I think it's like a weird. I think probably are ultimately. Like looking back on it, probably like my favorite platform because they were weird for so long. Like it was bizarre. Like PS1 was weird as fuck. And then PS2, I remember started to feel a little bit like more like, okay, well, you got your kind of tent poles, and then PS3 just kind of was following they weren't really leading. And so like, I just think that first Xbox and the Xbox 360 were just such weird ecosystems. They were doing weird things. Their UIs were weird. Like everything about it was strange and interesting, and there was always something weird happening. The Summer of Arcade was awesome, and but for me, like the Xbox as that kind of vibe died a long time ago. Like it died arguably like after the Kinect. I remember when they like made they did their third dashboard update to make it more like the Xbox One before the Xbox One came out, and they kind of made it. They gave it a Hulu UI, and they kind of sucked all the character out of it, and so like it's been a while since I've cared really, and certainly ever since the Xbox One launch, where it was just like, ooh, like how'd you fuck up this bad? So I don't lament Xbox being gone because I've always been relatively agnostic. My lament is more the fact that like Xbox, along with many other platforms, by the way, have just lost a sense of identity so deeply to the fact that like all of these machines feel so interchangeable now. That's what really kind of bums me out more about it. It's less about Xbox and more about the fact that I got to live through that and then see it die, and then see kind of PlayStation arguably kind of do kind of the same thing. Like the cross media bar was so weird and cool, and I'm not saying like the UI on PlayStation 5 isn't good or whatever. Like everything functions, but there is kind of a vibe or like a character that is missing in modern hardware, even with the Switch 2 and all that. So is it a bummer that Xbox has gone as a main hardware manufacturer? Sure, but it arguably doesn't make much of a difference to me. Not anymore. I'm still very nostalgic about it, and I think it's a fucking unique as hell brand, especially from the original Xbox. That 10-year span of 2000 to 2010 was a pretty special and unique and weird time to get involved.
Yeah, there's a lot. I think there's going to still be a lot to write about Xbox, but I think that they blew it. I mean, in a way, but I also think that they just never had the territorial permeation to really compete long term. They were very reliant. In other words, when the 360 sold, the 360 is its biggest success by far, it was like irrelevant in a lot of the world. It actually really ran up the score in the United States, in the UK, in some emerging markets. But like, I think that they were kind of maybe trapped to begin with a very Western style machine. And to their credit, they did a lot to try to fight against that. I bring it up over and over again. They spent a lot of money on a lot of random games that had no business being on Xbox 360, but were because they threw their money around. Think about Blue Dragon.
Yeah, Blue Dragon.
They basically sent that game out to die in Japan, because no one had an Xbox. But they tried. They Lost Odyssey. They did a shit. They had an exclusive Tales game. And even back in the original Xbox era, getting with Tecmo and doing Ninja Gaiden and reviving that or whatever, like they were trying. I just think that when we look back at things, it'll be that territorial lack of awareness in a lot of places that matter, that are not the United States, of course, in terms of their sales, but it's chip damage, and you get that little chip damage in all these different places, in Paraguay and and it's like whatever, and it's just a little bit, and then it all adds up, and that's what Sony has.
Right. Yeah.
And people feel like, and Sony's presence they're so omnipresent in a lot of markets with like soccer ads, and like you always see them blazing on all these different things and it's like, so Microsoft had an uphill battle. I think they had to really do it perfectly, and they fucked it up. And even a little bit of a fuck up is going to derail it. So
they weren't savvy enough to have as broad of a success. I agree. I do think though that like the Western, or I do think like the Japanese market analysis part of the equation, I don't know if that matters so much. I think it mattered. It ended up mattering, but like, I mean, we see like even with the PlayStation that like even PlayStation ended up kind of shifting towards an America kind of focus, like not Japan as like a prime focus. So like arguably like they were positioned fairly well. It was ultimately just the fact that like, dude, every decision they made was so boneheaded from the end of the 360 generation leading into the Xbox One. Every single possible decision there. Oh, we're going to put a fucking camera in here that's going to drive the price of the machine up $100. Any idiot could have told you that was like a stupid idea. But like that got through somehow. And then, the always online DRM before people were ready to hear it. And even just, I think we had this conversation somewhat recently where like, even if they were going to do all of those things, the simple fact of like the order in which you unveiled these things would have made a tremendous difference. Like if you did your E3 first and then showed your fucking cable bullshit that nobody gave a shit about, because that would have been seen as extraneous as opposed to like the prime focus. They just stumbled the fuck since the Project Natal or whatever. Since the
Natal,
Kinect.
that's right.
And that'll be the legacy of that ship. Really, it really is all. Like, I know we talk about like Activision and all the mistakes like leading up after that, but like I really think it's like you couldn't ask for a worse disaster than the Xbox One. Like everything about it, everything leading up to it, all the decisions, everything. I know people think it's overstated, but I kind of, as somebody who lived it and like was in that ecosystem and was there, nuclear shit. I got it because I thought the Halo was only going to stay there. And it did.
It did for a long. I mean, yeah, you can't be even mad about having an Xbox One. It still was only there, for PC too. But I think you're absolutely right. I think it is a kind of a death by a thousand cuts. I also think they were too aggressive in like the always online thing. Like I actually, and really not the always online thing, but the always online thing catered towards some sort of DRM.
Right.
I didn't mind that. I just think that you didn't need to do it, because what you could have done instead, look at where we are now. People used to be like, I want to resell my games, I want to own them. And it's like, cool, like that's totally fine. But naturally, more and more and more and more people are buying digital games. We see that in our own data. And eventually it's going to get to a point where it's like, well, you can't sell your digital game. Sorry. I mean, that's just the way it goes. And so it would have just gotten to that point. You didn't have to force it. You would have just gotten there. You know,
that's their problem, is that they always, they're too early to a lot of things. And even when they are early to things that people generally end up adopting, they never sell it well. They never communicate it well. Oh, we got a place for people like you. It's called Xbox 360. Brother. What? That is I still, like, that to me is still like top 5 most insane things an executive has ever said publicly to an audience. Like, what? How disconnected can you possibly be?
Indeed. They just didn't need to do it. I understand they were, used game sales were a problem. They tried all these different novel ways, especially in the PS3 and 360 era, like online passes and stuff to like get people to stop selling their games and stop buying used games and at least getting a little bit of money from people. I get all that, but they should have just been smarter to be like, the inexorable trend is just going to fix this problem. We just have to hang on. And by the way, we're Microsoft. It's not really going to hurt us. So
yeah,
it is what it is. I certainly, again, my sympathies lie with the player base of tens of millions of people that love the console, the Xbox console, and are not going to, like, with even all the stuff going on with component pricing and stuff, you even look at it and you're like, I don't know, man. Like, is this thing really even going to happen? I'm sure it exists. I'm sure they want to do it, but like ultimately when push comes to shove, are you going to be like, let's price this thing out? And it's like, it's too expensive.
I say as an Xbox fan, I don't see a reason. Even the smallest reason where like, it would be cool to interact with a new UI. They're not going to do that. It's just going to be the same, because that's what they did with the Xbox One going into the Series X. It's like actually the same UI. It's like, so I don't even get like the illusion that I'm using a new thing. That was kind of a bummer. So like, I don't know, man. It's just kind of the writing's been on the wall for a while, and I'm with you. Like, it sucks for that player base and the millions of people who are going to be affected by it. But I mean, I just don't know what the reason would be to even make a new Xbox at this point. I don't see it.
I don't either, except as we have well worn at this point, an off ramp. Like some sort of olive branch. But if you're making a PC anyway, I just let OEMs make it your shit.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else to say, Dustin? No, you're done. No, I don't want to hear it.
Oh.
Call of Duty up next, huh?
Wow.
All right. Yep, Call of Duty. Time to talk more about this. So Push Square wrote a story that cites an ongoing lawsuit surrounding Bobby Kotick and I guess some of the Activision stuff that really has no relevance to us. But I'm going to read you through the story about the context of it and then what he says about Call of Duty that I think is really, it's not only eye-opening, it's like, oh no. Let's see what it says. The title here says, Call of Duty on track to perform over 60% below last year. Ex-Activision boss Bobby Kotick sticks knife in flagging FPS franchise. And they write, quote, it's no secret Call of Duty is enjoying a particularly torrid time, but ex-Activision boss Bobby Kotick may have revealed just how badly the latest entry, Black Ops 7, is doing. In response to a lawsuit led by investors and funded by a Swedish pension fund named AP7, he repeated multiple times that the newest Call of Duty is down 60% compared to last year's game, which will be sending alarm bells ringing in Redmond. To give some context to the suit, a group of investors have essentially alleged Kotick of rushing into the deal to sell Activision to Microsoft. They claim his valuation of $95 per share, $69 billion cumulatively, was too low. They further allege that he ultimately made the decision to sell to insulate himself from widespread sexual scandals. But in Kotick's response, he points to lagging console hardware sales and massive declines to the Call of Duty franchise as evidence of why he made the right call. He said, as read and reported by GameFile, quote, today, given that console sales are at an all-time low and Call of Duty sales are off over 60% from the prior year, plaintiffs should be expressing extreme gratitude for the foresight Activision leadership demonstrated in consummating this transaction, end quote. We're not entirely sure, they write, where Kotick is pulling his 60% figure from. I don't think it's that mysterious at all. But it's safe to assume a man with his standing in the industry would have his sources. Indeed, we know that Black Ops 7 has seen massive declines pretty much worldwide, forcing Activision to release an unprecedented statement late last year, which we covered on the show. The panic note to players mentioned it had never released back-to-back sub-franchise installments again. It's also true that console sales are at an all-time low in the US anyway, where November's numbers were worst on a record in 30 years, despite the brand new Switch 2 entering the market. Elsewhere in his note, Kotick went on to attack the FTC, who famously tried to stop the Activision acquisition from going through. He pointed out, quote, Call of Duty is on track to perform over 60% below last year because of intense competition from titles like Battlefield, destroying the FTC's now defeated argument about Call of Duty's purported monopoly and the lack of competition in the first-person action game category, end quote. Dustin, I lied. I do want to hear from you. What do you think about all of this? Now, I don't want to set the stage, I don't want to lead you too much, but 60% off is insane. And they right here, we're not entirely sure where Kotick is pulling his 60% figure from. It's probably because he was the CEO and co-founder of Activision for its entire duration since its down days in the 80s, and probably knows almost everyone still in the C-suite. So I assume that's where the numbers are coming from. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not surprised, and I believe the 60%. We talked about that a few weeks ago about, it's one piece of the pie, but the Steam numbers in particular are telling of the situation. And so this information just confirms that we were on the right track with that. And you got to wonder partially if, I don't know. I was like, are the sales down 60% partially because Microsoft is putting it on Game Pass? Certainly that has some part of it, but at the same time, the IP has just continued to decline and get more tired. And as pointed out, games like Battlefield, but also Arc Raiders have just pulled people away from this, where they see how, Black Ops, what was it, 6? I think Black Ops 6 actually had decent momentum behind it, but didn't pan out in the long term just because people were starting to get sick of the different DLC and the different types of characters they put in the game. And then Black Ops 7 was just like, man, the wrong direction at the worst time to take the IP. So the thing that I think is that while it is down 60%, I think they could turn it around. I think it might take a few years, and maybe it's not going to be quite to where it was for a while, but these things ebb and flow. And so I like right now, Battlefield, I feel like a lot of people are kind of cold on that now too. It's like things have their moment being in the spotlight. Call of Duty this year, Call of Duty had its moment in the spotlight. It just was not a very positive one. And so if they come out with the right game at the right time next year, it's hard because these things have to be planned years in advance. But I think they could see they could regain some of that 60% loss. But yeah, not surprising. And I kind of was thinking that my take was that Call of Duty will still be Battlefield despite it all because it's Call of Duty. But
like long term.
Well, not even just like this game.
Oh, so
like
game to game. I see
before both of them are out, people were like, Battlefield 6 is going to annihilate Call of Duty. And I'm like, we always say that and it never happens. And this time it actually happened.
Yeah.
It was against all wisdom. But I guess the writing was on the wall. So maybe we should have been looking, or at least for me, who was making that take, like look around. Okay. The tides are changing.
Yeah. It's, well, before I get into it, Chris, what do you think about this? This is a pretty big news.
Yeah. No, I was pretty bullish about Battlefield coming out on top this year. Like there was something in the air about it. I wasn't sure, obviously, just a lucky guess, but like, It felt like this year things were shifting, and like it didn't feel like there was much clamoring for Black Ops. Everything about it, from like the fact that it was like a numbered sequel immediately after the previous one, which is pretty rare and usually not a good indicator. The last time that happened was also like, I'm pretty sure, was it Modern Warfare 3, Dustin? Was that the last time that they had like the recent Modern Warfare 3, by the way, was the last time that they had like a direct numbered sequel without like a space in between or like alternating franchises.
Yes.
And
that
it
didn't also wasn't
well.
even a new game.
Right. Well,
it was like a crappy campaign.
Yeah, it was like a Warzone
small
map,
and new
right?
maps.
Yeah, so I mean that being in the air was kind of a telltale sign. Battlefield just generally having positive underground buzz from like playtesters and Arc Raiders kind of exploding out of nowhere too was also kind of like that. That was, I think, when I was more sure about it, where it's just like, oh, there's like, usually people will be like, oh, well, yeah, maybe I'll get both, right? But now there's this other thing that's kind of sweeping up a lot of the attention. And so like, I just thought like, yeah, this is the year that they're gonna fumble. It's not surprising. I think much like Dustin that like, I think ultimately they can turn it around, because Call of Duty is just one of those, it's one of those franchises that I think if you build something good within it, people will come. Like, I think that's really as simple as it is. It's like that name recognition is so huge. It's been around for a long time, which that in and of itself isn't necessarily a guarantee, but it helps. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, the thing that's crossing my mind a lot as I think about this is the fact that, like, man, there was a time where you could get away with this kind of thing when development cycles were 3 years, where you could alternate reasonably between a handful of studios and have them each kind of pumping out an offset game that met some kind of quality bar that people reasonably saw something in. But now that those development schedules are like 5 years apart and they're more expensive to make now, like, I wonder how reliably you can even really do that without really seeing the deficits of what it takes to meet that demand. Like, this seems evidence to me that like the current way that they're doing things is not sustainable and they can't do it. Like, I almost wonder if the remedy that they're going to look at is like building another team to fill in that space, or we're going to take a year off.
Yeah, scale down,
bring back the kind of like make you miss us type deal. Almost like they did with the Assassin's Creed, that 1 year where they didn't release an Assassin's Creed game. And so when it came back, people were like, oh, okay, let's see what this is. Didn't work for me. It didn't grab me or anything.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, yeah.
I think it'll work for some people. Like, just like let you miss Call of Duty for a little bit. You can't be too long because it's fucking expensive. But I think even a year would do a lot.
Yeah, I think you're right. You both say a lot of interesting stuff because there's going to be a lot. This is really not good. I think you're being very fair, Chris, Dustin, I'm sorry, when you say that, this is 60% down. What part of that comes from Game Pass? But that Game Pass would have been in last year's too, right? So that is fair, and it's interesting to think about, but it's from this old baseline. In other words, that number would have been much more instructive maybe last year. I think the first year that they ingested it in the Game Pass, and they lost a lot of money doing it. But I think you're right. Like, well, Chris, because there's two different ways to pursue it. It's either you like dump more money in, and right. I don't know that they have the appetite to do that. Although it might pay off, it could become a sunk cost. The other thing is, to go away and scale down. And I think that that's what they really need to do. And I was saying this on an appearance I did recently on a different show where they have basically all of Activision working on Call of Duty. And what you might want to do is you just kind of get rid of the support teams if you want to scale things down. So your Beanoxes and your High Moons and all the rest. And you keep Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer, Treyarch, and Raven. And you let them collectively make a Call of Duty game every 3 years or something. And then have a roadmap even immediately of saying, like, this is quarters 1 through 12. We're going to have things for this game leading into the next release. We're already talking about the next release. It's going to be here. And in the meantime, we're going to go silent again and make this new game. And I just think it's too aggressive to go after people for $60 or $70 or your Game Pass subscriptions every year to go after Call of Duty when there's just too much competition. It's not the same anymore. Call of Duty used to be an annualized sports title. And that works in sports still to this day because they're all unique to their particular brand and their particular game. So Madden is Madden. That's a ubiquitous thing. But Call of Duty is Call of Duty, but shooters are shooters. In other words, football, another basketball game or another football game is not going to be an NBA game or an NFL game, and it's not going to work. So I just think they really need to bite the bullet. And this is why I think it's so funny that this Swedish pension fund is suing Bobby Kotick, because I agree with them in the sense that it's like, are you crazy? Do you have any idea how much Microsoft overpaid for this thing? That's why. And I remember saying, you guys will remember, I said that at the time. I was like, this is so much money for Call. Like, I don't understand. Again, just to use some examples, it's like Star Wars was $4 billion. Star Wars. And meanwhile, Activision Blizzard is $70 billion. It doesn't, even with the years detached, 10 years difference, it's like, it doesn't really make any sense. And so I agree with him. Like, if you were an Activision shareholder, you got a great fucking deal. And I love his kind of coyness, and it shows that he doesn't have good relationships with like people that are involved in this, because, and it showed during the trial, by the way, where he said he would never put Call of Duty in the Game Pass because he would lose money doing it. And lo and behold, that's what happened. But he's basically saying, like, yeah, like, you should be thanking me. We got a good deal for you at the time that this thing has been declining. And they probably had a good feeling for it, even at that time. They're not stupid. We have a letter from Drew Peacock that gets into something I wanted to discuss, though. He says, "Hi, Kyle, Dusty, and Christopher. I have a question about Xbox's handling of Call of Duty since the Activision deal. They've publicly acknowledged that putting COD on Game Pass potentially cost them hundreds of millions in lost sales, and now the most recent game is majorly underperforming compared to previous years. At the same time, Xbox leadership has gone through multiple shakeups. We really don't even know who is running it at this point, and they just don't seem to have a realistic long-term strategy. Do you think Microsoft actually has the leadership skills and creative stewardship needed to protect, handle, and grow a franchise as big as Call of Duty? Or is there a real risk that the Activision acquisition ends up being a huge financial and creative misstep because Xbox simply doesn't have the track record of managing and evolving franchises like Call of Duty?" Curious to hear your thoughts. Listen, I don't want to pile on too much, but I said this from the beginning, and it's not to be a dickhead. I even said this during the Bethesda acquisition, which made a lot more sense. It's like, Microsoft simply doesn't have the creative talent to do this. If Activision was on a trajectory down, or Call of Duty was on a trajectory down, Microsoft was definitely not going to be the company that stopped it from happening. And it was never a good creative fit. They're a major computing corporation. They're a services corporation. They are good at it. But you can't really look at their stewardship of virtually anything in the game space and be like, yeah, you did a good job. Look at Halo. Look at Gears. Forza Prime. I mean, that series is done now, right? And it's, as we were saying earlier, it's just flying too close to the sun with deals and talking out of both sides of your mouth and acting like PlayStation was trying to kill them by getting exclusives while you do the same fucking thing. And all the rest, it just, I'll just reiterate for the millionth time, if I believe that PlayStation needs new leadership, and I do, at least on the studio side, and I'm very on record about that, then absolutely you drop a fucking neutron bomb on the Xbox brand and bring in all new people. And that should have happened a long time ago, and that should have happened when their strategy changed. So that you could have brought in new people, interviewed people, and said, like, this is what we want to do. And they're like, yes, we agree. And then they're the fucking figureheads of this whole shift as the ship turns into a different direction, a 90-degree different direction. But instead, they kept all the same people involved who never had the talent to deal with the growing organization behind the scenes to begin with. And then you give them Activision? Come on. It's just kind of nonsensical when you think about it. No, Matt Booty could be the nicest. I've never met him. Nicest person in the world. Obviously has no idea what he's doing.
Yeah.
Phil Spencer talks out of both sides of his mouth. Everything he said ends up having another statement against it. There are entire like meme images of it. Like, it's so easy to encapsulate and boil it down. That's what bothers me about the Xbox situation. Not that they're failing, but that they seem to be okay with it. There's like a level of acceptance. We're not going to win. You kind of almost found it when Phil Spencer was like, we're never going to out console PlayStation. It's like, well, why not?
Yeah.
Why? Like, because you're incapable of it?
Well, yeah. The thing to me about that was like, I agree with that assessment, But also, like, if you agree with that assessment, why are you there?
Yeah, you don't say it.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not supposed to, like, you can't, it's not even about you don't say it. Like, I feel like the person in charge of that situation shouldn't even believe that. Because then what are you doing? I believe that. I personally, like, and I've been on the record multiple times where I just, like, I feel like really since the Xbox One, there was really no way that they were going to come out of that. Like, that was the digital library. And like, even he said it, like Phil Spencer said it. And I was like, why are you saying this? It's crazy. But even so, you got to have a guy who thinks that losing is not possible. Or at the very least is willing to project that image, to the best of his ability, that it kind of spreads. Like, look, I don't know what game development is like. I don't know what morale at studios is like, but like, I would have to imagine that if you're working at Xbox Game Studios and you're like, and you hear the main guy go, "Oh, we lost the worst generation. It's kind of over." I can't imagine that that's like a fantastic thing to be hearing. Maybe it is because, like, you're in Microsoft and there's like some level of just like, oh, well, they're just going to keep doing this. And eventually we'll do multi-platform games. And we kind of want our games everywhere anyway, because we're developers. So like, maybe it doesn't bother you ultimately because maybe that's the lens that you're looking at it through. But I don't know, man. Your head guy shouldn't be saying that shit. Even if it's a lie. I mean, you're paid to lie anyway. Like, that's what you do. But just weird. Just very bizarre choice to come out and say that.
It should be clear also, and I want to say this to be honest and fair, is like, my contempt for that leadership oozes out of my pores because of all the shit that leaked during the FTC trial. Like, I said it from the beginning, these guys have no strategy, no taste.
Oh, they were looking to buy Sega and... Yeah.
We can spend Sony out of business, is what Matt Booty said in an email. Okay. How did that go? I just feel like there was no, like, remember we would make fun of it, that emails, like, here are all the acquisition targets. Every company, like, literally you couldn't even name a company that wasn't in that list. Here are all the acquisition targets we're vetting. Everyone. It's like, oh, cool. You guys are really like in it for like some sort of creative purpose, or you believe that some sort of creative theory will net you. I mean, it's a business. You want to make money. It was so, like, how can these guys be looked at as serious players? And I'm not saying Xbox is a brand. I'm saying those people. It's like, How have you not just resigned? Like, I would be so embarrassed if I was in that position and people knew that I said that, where it's like, yeah, we will just buy anything. And by the way, it shows. I've been saying that from the very beginning. Like, it shows. The acquisitions are incoherent. Activision's not even the beginning of it. It's like all these random studios. It's like, okay, because it was clear that they just went to anyone and were like, "What do you want?" And some went with them and some didn't. And much like, unfortunately, what's happening with Facebook, Sanzaro was closed down, which is the developers of Sly Cooper. You go with the wrong partner and you can pay the price. And the studio pays the price. The people that sold the company didn't pay any sort of price. But so we'll see what happens. But if those sales numbers are true, Microsoft is eating shit with Call of Duty. Not even like close to being even in terms of finances are concerned. And it makes you wonder what moves they're going to make, because this is not sustainable. It's sustainable in the real, in that they could take money from Peter to pay Paul or whatever. But if you want Paul to be self-sustaining, then you're going to have to cut a lot of heads and you're going to have to think about a different way forward. And I agree with you, is like, going away is the best idea. Because the one thing that they have, and this is why I contend that, like, is a game like Fortnite permanent? And I mean, like, forever, like 50 years from now. And there's a lot of juice and a lot of energy in something that is multi-generational, not by console, but by person, that has just been present. And if it goes away and comes back, it's going to scratch, like, someone's going to be nostalgic about that. Actually, tens of millions of people. And so if you just like go away and come back at the launch of PS6 or something, and it's like, here's a new Call of Duty experience, and we've really put our all into this, and it's the most robust, amazing thing you've ever seen, because we had time to fucking think.
Yeah.
Because they would just throw bodies at these things. It's hard to do. It's hard to make 3 games at a time. That's what they do. It's
That's
really freaking hard.
So I got those AI cards.
Right. Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
And so, but I'm telling you, if these numbers are true, and I believe they're 100% accurate, because Bobby Kotick would absolutely know. He knows everything. Like you don't think he doesn't know everything that's going on there still? Of course he does.
Yeah.
So
if they're not literally true, they're true enough to be irrelevant to even argue, you know?
Right. Exactly.
Maybe it's 61% or like, 59 or something. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right. Exactly. No, you're absolutely right. Because there's some kids like, how would Bobby know? And it's like, are you kidding? Are you fucking kidding? Just because he's not officially there anymore, I'm sure he can get whatever he wants. So, because I mean, like, these are people that a lot of these people owe him everything.
Yeah.
Like that, he's the one that saved Activision, and then he's the one that hired all of them. So if he's on the phone, it's like, so what's going on? I mean, I used to do that. I knew everything that was going on at IGN for years.
Yeah. What's the idiom? The phrase like hand a company a Call of Duty and he eats for 1 year. That is it. Teach a man to Call of Duty. Eats for a lifetime.
Teach a man to Call of Duty. Sounds like you're having a stroke. All right, a couple more things to get through, and then we can get into what we're playing, and we can wrap things up with listener inquiries. New PlayStation Plus game catalog games for the extra and premium tiers. These games are added to the list and will be available as of the 20th of January. And obviously, certain other games will be leaving the list as well. The big addition here is Resident Evil 8, Resident Evil Village, as a prelude to Resident Evil 9, right? Resident Evil Requiem, which is coming out very soon, in February. So that's a big addition. Another big addition, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, for both PS5 and PS4. And by the way, Resident Evil's on PS5, PS4 as well. Another big game is Expeditions, a Mud Runner game for PS5 and PS4. Those games are quietly very big. Do you guys ever see any of these games like Mud Runner, Snow Runner?
I know of them.
They're like big games. I think that's some of the biggest stuff Embracer does now.
I kind of want to play one of these. Sounds fun.
I played Snow Runner.
Satisfying like Death Stranding, right?
It's like a very serious driving game, like where you have to like use like winches and different sorts of tires. And I played Snow Runner, and it is really cool, but it is very serious in that like it is what it is. But I can see exactly why people would enjoy it because it's a high quality version of those games. Usually those kinds of games, like the simulator games, are not very high quality, and it's like a high quality, high produced version of it.
Visually, it looks incredible, actually.
Less prominent, A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead. I know you've been looking forward to playing this, Chris, and the single player horror adventure game is available on PS5 for you. Darkest Dungeon 2. I played Darkest Dungeon 1, but I think on Vita, but I don't think I got very far in it. Did you?
So hard, dude.
Yeah.
It's so hard. I haven't played the second. I never beat the first one because I'm not smart enough for it.
So that's available PS5 and PS4. The Exit 8, which had like a little bit of a moment.
Yeah,
it's good. It's only $3, so
not really worth being in plus.
Yeah, I recommend it. I had a really fun hour and a half with it, but it's cool. It's neat.
And this is one of those games that had like a copy of it where it was like 8 Exit or something like that with like the same icon. It's like, all right, guys.
Yeah.
Art of Rally is out on PS5 and PS4. A Little to the Left will be available on PlayStation Plus Extra. And then finally, the only retro game this month is the original Ridge Racer from PS1.
Ridge Racer,
which will be on PS5 and PS4 as well. So disappointing level of retro support, but nice game catalog additions. Resident Evil, burped, Yakuza, and so on and so forth. Or Like a Dragon. I'm sorry.
Take it easy.
So those will be available if you're a PlayStation Plus Extra or Premium member as of January 20th. And finally, Sony released the best-selling PlayStation Store games top downloads of 2025. So usually we go through these month by month, but now we have yearly charts. So here are the biggest games of note on PlayStation Network in the United States and Canada combined for the year of 2025. NBA 2K26. Most downloaded game. What do you think of that?
It's funny just because I don't know anyone who plays that game. But I'm also Western PA and no one cares about basketball.
Well, it's also funny because everyone seems to hate the NBA now. I know you guys don't follow sports, but people kind of hate the NBA now. Like it's definitely in a massive decline. I don't know do you guys know anything about like what's happening with like where people are shooting a shit ton of threes now? And it's like totally changed the game. Like what people have analytically figured out is like you should just shoot threes. And even though you miss most of them, you'll just score more points. And so if you, there's like, I got to send you some of the clips because it's fucking hysterical. Like back and forth, like over and over again, these guys just throwing bricks. And like, this is like what the NBA becomes. Instead of like settling down in the zone, passing the ball around, like trying to get close to the basket. Right. And everyone's really critical of it. So this is all happening. This discourse is happening at the same time that NBA 2K26 is the biggest game on PlayStation 5. Okay. Can't really square that. Battlefield 6, number 2. What do you think of that?
Yep.
Pretty good.
There it is.
Number 3, Grand Theft Auto 5. And then 4 and 5, college football and Madden. So 3 sports games in the top 5 and a game from 2013. And then number 6, Minecraft. And then number 7, Black Ops 7. Number 8, Arc Raiders. Yeah, wow. You said ouch. I mean, that's unprecedentedly low for Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And what's funny is Black Ops 6 is only a few down from there on the list. But let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So Ghost of Yotei was 9. MLB The Show was 10. Ready or Not at 12. That game was quietly very big on a console. Forza Horizon 5 at 14. Now, this is where some people are starting to contest Alinia's numbers because this suggests that it didn't sell 5 million copies, right? On PS5, but or maybe around there. But I because they have Elder Scrolls Oblivion at 1 million, and that's at 16 on this list. And then Assassin's Creed Shadows at 17, Clair Obscur at 18, and Monster Hunter Wilds falling all the way down to 19. Did you guys see that thing about Monster Hunter Wilds DLC and all that? Do you think that's real, Dustin? Can you explain that to the audience?
Okay, this is just from looking at a few tweets, so don't take my word as gospel. But to my understanding is that someone figured out that in the PC version of Monster Hunter Wilds, the game does a check where it checks how much DLC you have downloaded. And it runs this check regularly as you play, probably as some kind of, I would assume, some kind of like pseudo DRM, just to make sure like, oh, do you have this before you go into a world or something. So what someone did is that they went and spoofed it to make it look like they had every piece of DLC that they ever released. And the game was running like 30 frames higher. Like in this example, it was like going from 25 to 30 frames per second to like 55 for owning all the DLC.
It's crazy.
I'm going to give Capcom the benefit of the doubt. This is not intentional that owning more games gets you better performance, but wow. Huge oversight. Hopefully they fix that.
Funny. And it's so that the story of that game, I think, is interesting because it's obviously critically or commercially very successful. People liked it at first, but it's a poster child for this era of ephemeral presence. No matter how big your game is, it just doesn't have presence because there's just too much going on. And I always just bring up Silk Song as an example of that. That game has no presence.
Yeah.
What happened? What are you laughing
at? Nothing. I got a DM. It's completely irrelevant.
All right, let's get into what we're playing. My friends, as we begin what we're playing, let's go to Dustin first because he's playing Kingdom Hearts 2. I want to hear about your adventures. In 2005 PS2 game. You're playing it on what? PS4?
I am playing it on PS4. When I played Kingdom Hearts 1, I played it the PC version. But I've noticed it's kind of, when I played the first one, it was kind of buggy in certain ways. Like the frame rate was weird and a couple audio glitches. So I just decided to stick with Old Faithful PlayStation for Kingdom Hearts 2. And yeah, I decided to go into this just because I was feeling it. I wanted to replay the whole series before Kingdom Hearts 4 anyway. Am I potentially replaying way too fucking early? Probably. Because I'm guessing Kingdom Hearts 4 is not coming out this year. Maybe next year. But this game, as I was telling Colin earlier in the show, is the peak. of the series. And there are other great games in the franchise. Birth by Sleep, Kingdom Hearts 3, also amazing. But 2 is really where it feels like one of those sequels. Like, people always reference Assassin's Creed to Assassin's Creed 2 as like one of the great sequels. I feel like Kingdom Hearts 2 is that as well, in terms of the different worlds you get to go to, and especially after playing Kingdom Hearts 1 right before it, seeing it directly how improved they are, but not just like the combat, but what you're doing in the worlds is much more interesting. The story gets a lot more wacky in the second game in a way that I find really entertaining. And across the board, it's funny. And I was trying to figure this out because when we were playing Kingdom Hearts 1, I feel like I remembered it way more than I'm remembering Kingdom Hearts 2. Because the last time I played this was either in 2017 or 2018 before 3 came out. And so it wasn't that long ago, but there are parts where I'm like, I have no memory of this at all as I'm playing it. I have no memory of this specific part.
There's that meme of, was it Gandalf?
Gandalf, yeah. I have no memory of this place. That's how I feel, dude, playing parts of Kingdom Hearts 2. So I'm having a nice time with it. I like that, specifically in contrasting Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, everyone focuses on the combat for a reason. It has such a great progression of when you start the game. Sora's like pretty limited in his moveset and his combos and his jump. And you are leveling up in this game all the time. Not too much, but as you level up, you unlock more ways to customize your combat, more combos, more special abilities. And it's like, yeah, you could see that Kingdom Hearts 1 wasn't the full vision of the combat. They were figuring things out. But yeah, I am absolutely loving it. Some of the Disney worlds in this game are so cool, to the point where I know you can't spoil a game this old, but there are some that I don't think you know about, Colin. So I'm not going to say them, but there are some ones that I'm like, wow, that's...
Please don't spoil Kingdom Hearts 2 for
I
me.
will not spoil Kingdom Hearts 2. But maybe here's what I'll say. There are certain worlds in Kingdom Hearts 2 that they go into live action Disney movies. And it's neat. It's pretty cool. So that's about it. All I'm playing right now. I'm just kind of taking it easy, desperately awaiting some games coming out.
Yeah, there's nothing to really... That's why I feel like I'm in no urgent rush right now. I mean, there are many things that I could play.
Oh yeah,
nothing like coming out on this ever-ending rotisserie of games that's going to begin with Resident Evil. Because it really
Dragon Quest. Are you going to play?
No, I'm not going to play. I'm not. I will. I'd like to at some point, but I didn't even finish 3, and I didn't even get to 1 and 2. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, and then play the one that's even fucking longer than that. Seems to be a death knell. But yeah, no, that's going to be a big one for sure. Kingdom Hearts.
A death knell. That's so dramatic.
Chris, let's go to you. Destiny 1.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I think, honestly, the rumblings of The Division coming back kind of got me in like this weird nostalgic mood for these like early PS4 generation kind of live service attempts that perhaps were better than I might remember, or perhaps worse, and I wasn't sure. It'd been a long time. I haven't played Destiny 1 since probably just before Destiny 2, so like literally 2017 probably was the last time I even remotely dabbled. So it's been 9 years. So it's been a long ass time. And I booted it up out of curiosity, also because I saw that it was like, I think $6 for like all of it. And you could like the Destiny collection, I think it's like, so every single DLC, all of it from beginning to end. It doesn't have this weird vaulting problem that Destiny 2 has, because Destiny 2 has been alive and supported for a lot longer. So you can play through the entirety of Destiny 1. And I thought, like, you know what? I don't know how deep I'll get into this, but I'm kind of curious. I'm into the idea of kind of revisiting this. And so I started it up again, and yeah, man, there's I don't know what you call it, but there's like a vibe to the original Destiny 1, or like an atmosphere, like with music and tone that I find quite refreshing and endearing. There's something about it. It's a lot slower. That's something that's so funny about like looking back at it. It's like Destiny 2 is so fast in comparison. Like Destiny 2 is like damn near Tony Hawk Pro Skate. Like it's jet set radio, people zipping around, teleporting, flying all over the place, doing crazy trick shots and particle effects exploding every which way. And there's a fair bit of like, explosions. Obviously, it's a first person shooter sci-fi magic game, but it's a lot slower pace. It's a lot more deliberate. It feels a lot more like, oh man, how would I even describe it? It just feels more firmly planted. Like your jump isn't insane and you're not stupid strong. And it's funny listening to some of the cutscenes in retrospect now, where like they're talking about how like the whole premise of the first Destiny is that you're starting off on the back foot and you're kind of like trying to rebuild. And like one of the main guys in the beginning, early on, he says, "We used to be much more powerful." And I'm like, yeah, well, don't worry, we get there. Don't even worry about it.
Right.
But I like the more stripped down nature of it. It actually reminds me a lot more of like what the version of Marathon that exists right now is, a lot slower and like a lot more like kind of pared back. So it was a little bit of a window into that, but yeah, it plays really well. I dig the music. I like that it's like a sequential kind of story. I do remember that ultimately nothing happens in the story, but it's still kind of fun knowing where it goes and kind of having the context of all of this time. Little bit of a bummer that it only runs at 30 frames. I think there's a reason for that. I think back then things were like certain animations were tied to frame rates or something like that. Like some weird reason why it's not like it doesn't see a boost from any modern hardware. But so that's kind of rough to get used to. The low FOV is there also from being only a console game. And there's little quality of life changes that I wish that I'm like, oh, I miss this in Destiny 2, where like in order to go to any other planet from anywhere, you have to go to orbit first. So you have to like load into the space and then go where you want. It's like, that's a little clunky, but I'm finding a lot that I like in Destiny 1. Like there is kind of like this, I wonder what I'm going to get kind of feeling. And it is a lot stingier with the loot that you get. Like I find myself getting excited over shit that I would just immediately trash in Destiny 2 because I'm just like, oh, that's a green weapon, I'm not going to use that. But some of them are pretty good. And like the way the weapon unlock system is completely different. Like normally, or even in parts of D1, you'd get a weapon and it kind of does all that it's going to do. You can upgrade, like, I guess the effectiveness of it. But in D1, like you have to unlock every single feature of it through using it. So like if you get like a nice weapon with like a crazy ability, you kind of have to use it a shit ton before that cool ability even is usable to you. And I think that's kind of interesting. I'm kind of into the multifaceted leveling system there. I'm still pretty early on. I'm jumping into it at night as I kind of like go to bed. And so I'm only on the moon now, which is only like the second place you go to. But the one thing that I'm finding about it is like, man, this is so much more approachable than Destiny 2 is. Because Destiny 2 starts off and it shows that before you even consent, it's like, here's a cutscene of the latest thing that's happening. And now here's a mission about the cutscene. Oh, you've never played before? Tough. It's crazy. And like Destiny 1 starts off and you're like, yeah, make your character and you'll start off from the beginning and you can play to the end. And it's, I don't know, it is nice. It really is just because I'm kind of like, I'm jonesing for Marathon right now and this is kind of the closest thing I can get to it. But I'm enjoying it more than I anticipated enjoying it, and I'm playing it for a lot longer than I anticipated playing it. I thought I would maybe like kind of jump into it and be curious a little bit and just be like, oh, I wonder what this gun feels like. Oh, neat. But I am kind of going through the story, and from what I recall, it's not that long, so maybe I'll end up beating it. But it's a nice stroll down memory lane, and it kind of reminds me of there was something special about both The Division and Destiny around this time where like these kinds of games didn't really know what they were yet. And so they kind of didn't fall into the understood like expectations of what you would get from games like these. Like those hadn't been established yet. So you can kind of feel you can kind of feel the ghost of previous generations of like first person shooters kind of like haunting the area of this ultimately like new kind of genre, a new kind of play space, and it's neat. It's got really strong art direction, really strong sound design. It's a really beautiful game, actually, in retrospect, especially now knowing where it all goes, and now that it's not just kind of sitting there unfinished in some sense. I appreciate it a lot more now. But that's really it. I'm playing a couple other things that I didn't really feel was worth kind of like. I'm playing Mega Man 9 a little bit also.
Oh, cool.
Just because I'm in a bit of a Mega Man. I don't know. Mega Man X, I'm so shit at it. I don't know. Like, I just, like, I couldn't. I was getting my ass kicked. So I was just like, maybe let me work my way up to this maybe. And so I'm playing Mega Man 9 again. Still getting trounced, but getting further along in my progress in Mega Man 9, which is not new for me. Sheepman?
Sheepman's in Mega Man 10, I guess. Yeah, he's not.
Yeah, no. Sheepman is Mega Man 9 is like Plugman.
Yeah, Plugman. That's right,
yeah. That's the only one that I've been like.
Splash
playing.
Woman, I think, is one of them.
Splash Woman is in there.
Yeah,
I dig it. But yeah, I'm kind of like just feeling my way back into playing games. The next thing I really want to get to, really, and it's sitting here on my computer, is Chronos, because I know I'm gonna like it. I really got to set. It's like a mood thing. It's a mood thing for a game like that. Like I want to be hungry for some like horror. And I don't know if I'm there, but I think I'm getting there. So that's kind of the next on my list before Resident Evil comes out. But yeah, that's kind of it.
Cool. For me, I've just been spending the last week with Mega Man 11. I beat it. I'm working on all the trophies, so I got Did I talk last week about Dr. Light's trial? I don't remember what I even talked about last week, but I got the trophy for Dr. Light's trial in Mega Man 11, and that's probably the hardest gameplay related trophy I've ever gotten, or one of them. It's one of the rarest trophies I have. 0.3% of people that have played the game. So there's another 0.3% trophy on Mega Man 11, which is to beat it in under an hour, and I'm working on that now. The good news is that you can save after every stage, so you can kind of like manage your time, and if you don't like it, you just go back to your previous save and try the stage again. I'm running pretty late, and I don't know if I'm really going to be able to do it, but I'm still trying to figure out. It's so much harder. Like Mega Man 9 and 10 have similar challenges, and they're so much easier to beat in an hour. Like no problem at all. This is going to be a lot tighter because it's a lot more of a dynamic game. But I'm enjoying playing it and seeing it for what it is. I feel like it's not, and I talked about this, so people can listen to my deep dive on Mega Man on Summon Sign, by the way, which will go live next week, I guess, on all 11 Mega Man games, because we get into all of it. But it doesn't feel like a Mega Man game, really, like a classic Mega Man game. It's got too much going on for it to be a classic Mega Man game. And I think I'll be interested to see with this upcoming one next year, what their kind of take is on that. Are they going to go more traditional, or are they going to continue to kind of buff this thing out? Because I always felt like Mega Man X was the elaborate classic Mega Man game. You have like some side things and optional things and armor pieces to find, and you get stronger and all the rest. And Mega Man 1 or the Mega Man Classic games were supposed to be a little bit more straightforward and gameplay oriented. And Phil wrote in and said, Colin, do you find that returning to simple skill and gameplay driven games helps reset your desire to dive back into modern AAA fare? I know you have been indulging in Mega Man recently, as well as Terminator No Fate. I am close to completing Link's Awakening for the first time. I find playing classic 2D or even some modern indie games can help remind me of the essence of why we are here, gameplay. Yeah, I like balance. I don't want to say that I am here still to this day for gameplay, because I don't know that that's entirely true. I like a lot of things about games, and I always say that like a game doesn't even have to be fun to be good. It's all about the overall package. But there's no doubt that the era in which we all come from and that I grew up playing games in was really all about gameplay and using one's imagination to fill in the gaps. And so going back and playing the classic Mega Man games, or even a game like Mega Man 11 that's newer but still gameplay oriented, is refreshing. And there's a place for those kinds of games with a little bit of story and a little bit of plot and some environmental storytelling, but it's really all about the experience of play. But what I love about games is that games are about a lot more than that now. I don't think that walking simulators are fun. I think they're engaging and interesting, right? Like they can be, not all of them, obviously. But when I play, Gone Home or whatever, it's like, am I having, it's just so fun. No, like that's not what I was thinking. I was like, wow, this is intriguing. This is interesting.
Right.
So what I'm saying is I don't want to sell out and say, yeah, it's all about gameplay. Gameplay first. Gameplay is king ultimately, I think. But really, you can just say interactivity is king, because a game like Pentiment is interesting and I'm enjoying it, but I don't think it's fun.
Yeah.
I think those are just different things. So I'm not saying you're saying that, Phil, but I just want to make sure I'm clarifying. So yeah, for playing a game like Mega Man 11 is a nice, and just all the Mega Man games is a nice palate cleanser to, as has already been said by Chris and Dustin, just kind of waiting for what's beyond the next hill. Although there are some games I really need to go back and play as well. So I'm going to be done with Mega Man 11 soon, I hope. And then I don't know what I'm going to go to. I've been thinking about Hell Is Us. And I've been thinking about Final Fantasy Tactics. So I think I will go in one of those directions. I think we could imagine that will happen. But that's all I have for what we're playing, which means we get into listener inquiries to wrap this thing up. 6 questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, and ideas from the audience over on Patreon. Patreon.com/lastdaymedia. You submit your inquiries to the threads for the various shows in the news feed each week. And then we pick through those. You've heard your inquiries throughout the show. Here are 6 more, of course. And go to any of the shows. You don't have to just do Sacred Symbols if you want to submit to other shows as well. Sacred's threads go live on Wednesdays and are deleted Thursdays. So you have about 24 hours. Kenny Roberts wrote in and said, greetings, Sacred Lads. This one's for Colin. With Platinum number 200 coming up, do you have any specific games in mind for the big milestone? Personally, for my 100, I went for Kingdom Hearts 2 as it was a seminal game in my childhood and it felt good to go back to the old days now with an implemented trophy system. So will you go for something nostalgic, difficult, perhaps one you've been meaning to play for a long time, or just a random game? I'll slowly reach for an officer's firearm and listen. Suicide by Cop? Gotta be careful.
There's that. Do you know that image? Jamiroquai, right? You know that famous video that he did where he was like the moving furniture?
Oh, yeah.
Visual insanity. There's this great scene where he's like sliding up to the camera with his hand open. And my favorite version of that is like there's a police guy with a gun. It's just him reaching for that fucking music.
Virtual Insanity. I remember that video. That was a cool video back in the day. Yeah. I don't know any other song by him.
He did Canned Heat, which is the dance in Napoleon Dynamite, which is the only other one. This is the only other one that I know.
Interesting.
But
yeah, I remember he was wearing one of those very 90s hats in the video.
Yeah, it's like a fuzzy, it's a ridiculous top hat.
Right. So I don't know what I'm going to do. My 100th platinum was Twin Breaker. I did that intentionally because that was the first game I wrote and I wanted to commemorate that. So now we're at number 200. I'm at 197. My suspicion is Mega Man 11 will be 198. And then we'll see what happens from there. I do have an idea of what I want to do, and it would be an interesting stream. Do I have the thing still? And Dustin, it would be a reason for us to use this that I bought a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, the PS3.
The
Last of Us remover.
The Last of Us, the original The Last of Us would be an interesting 200 because I have the platinum in The Last of Us Part 1 and the platinum in The Last of Us Part 2 twice. But I don't have the platinum in the original The Last of Us, which is funny because I have all of the hardest trophies. All the online trophies are done. I did them back in the day when I was really good at online because I was playing it for so long. So I got those trophies quick when it came out because I was still good before everyone got better than me. That was probably the best I was ever at an online game, like comparable to the environment in which I was playing. Because I say before, like if I'm 1-to-1 kill to death ratio, I'm feeling good, like about my performance in any given game. So I was like way above that and that. So I have those trophies, and those are the really time consuming ones. I think each of them take 40 hours to get because you have to get 2 of them, and you have to play as the Fireflies and as the Survivors or whatever. So what I'm thinking is maybe we'll hook up the PS3 and do that. And I was looking, I have a save in the cloud, I believe, of a beaten game. And I think what I have to do is beat it on New Game Plus at the hardest difficulty level. So that could be an interesting series of streams. And playing it on PS3 is going to be rough, but but it'll probably be very nostalgic and interesting. So maybe that will be the idea. It could be a random one too, but I feel like that's kind of lame. It's not lame. It's like, who cares really, but you should commemorate it. It's a big number. 200 is a big number. So that's kind of Kenny. That's my my plan in my mind right now is to kind of maybe think about doing The Last of Us Part 1. And I have to find a copy of it because I think my copy of it, I probably have it somewhere, but that might be a Dagan's. So we'll see what happens. All right. Rob Persglove wrote in and said, hello, Sacred Trio. Colin, out of the games that you have or are going to release from Lillymo, which do you think would make sense to have DLC? Is this something you have ever considered? For Chris and Bustin' Dustin, what game do you wish had DLC that never got any? Thank you, and have a Maddie Genshin Impact video kind of day. What does that mean? Maddie Genshin Impact video?
No idea.
I have no, yeah.
Mr.
The lore's
Maddie
too deep on that.
Genshin Impact. It came up automatically.
That's hilarious. What could that possibly be?
Yeah, this doesn't have the 23,000 views from a few years ago. I don't know what this is a reference to.
I don't know. Maybe he crashes out. I don't know.
He crashes out. Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know.
So
if it was just a normal video, like it would be weird to reference. You know what I mean?
Now, I'm not a huge expansion or DLC guy, although there are expansions and DLC that I really enjoy, especially if I'm playing a game later. I love that. You're like, I think about going back to Fallout 4 sometimes, and I'm like, what would be really nice about this is it's all there.
Right.
I've even been thinking about playing Oblivion lately because I've been watching, Mike has been playing it on Xbox, and I'm like, this kind of looks cool. I've never played it. Am I nerdy enough for it? I don't know. I heard it's kind of simple. That's what she was saying, is like it's kind of simple and straightforward. And I don't know if that's quite what I'm looking for right now. But so I don't want to say I'm the biggest expansion or DLC person, but I'm wondering, Dustin, do you have any games that could have gotten expansions that didn't, or that you would have wanted to have more? Or are you kind of just ready to move on from game to game?
Yeah. Well, I'm not really a DLC guy almost at all, because there are even games that I really love that I never checked out DLC or just have moved on. So I want to amend the question slightly. And, you know, I'm going to just say I'm allowed to do that.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, Rob. My answer, I was thinking about The Witcher getting its DLC 10 years later or whatever. The game that I would want more DLC from, because this game did have technically DLC, that was before the era of DLC, is that I would love for there to be an expansion to Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 that adds modern roller coasters and updated AI to the game. I don't know how possible that would be, because the game was coded by one dude in assembly, and I'm pretty sure he is long retired at this point. He just kind of checked out, made his money, sold everything off to I think Atari owns it now. So Jason, I know you're listening.
Jason Polanski.
Make
Son of a gun.
Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 DLC with modern roller coasters and rides happen. Please.
Interesting. Chris, anything for you for DLC expansions? Anything that was never touched that you'd like to be touched?
I was thinking about it, and I just like, I'm very much like, this is a very non-DLC oriented crowd. I feel like this group of people you got up here. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not really that person either. Like even the Dishonored is a game I love. I loved the original Dishonored. That has a really well loved DLC that I've never played, because I'm just like, oh, I don't know. There's something about it. I grew up in a time when like you'd get a game on disc and that was kind of the game, you know, like it was, and even on cartridge early on. And so I kind of view DLC the way I view director's cuts, in the sense of like, it's cool that it's there, but fundamentally it's not, like holistically, it's not what the movie is. So like, I don't know if I really care that much about it. Like, even if it is great and better and like all that stuff, like I think there's a version of Spider-Man, there's Spider-Man 2.1 that exists, which is like a director's cut or something. And there's a bunch more scenes in it, alternate takes, a little bit more of certain fights and stuff. And I'm just like, I've seen it, and you know, there's more of it, and in some ways it's better, but like it's not the version. It's not what I think about when I think about Spider-Man 2. So like that's kind of how I feel about DLC, where I'm like, I'm not really that grabbed by it. But one thing I will say, it would have been cool of the DLCs that I did engage in. It would have been cool to get more. Although you're being greedy at this point with this game, but like it would have been cool to get more Grand Theft Auto 4. Because I did think Lost in the Damned and Ballad of Gay Tony were so good and were so interesting and were so weird that like I wouldn't have minded seeing more of that. I don't know what you would have done, I guess. But I think ultimately at the end of the day, I'd rather a follow-up or a sequel than, here's a DLC pack. A standalone DLC is different. I'm all right with that, but just not big on the concept as a whole.
As far as what he's asking me about DLC on my own games, or the games that Lillymo does, we have released DLC, although they're really updates and they're free. Super Perils of Baking got an update with another trophy. And then Herbroxia 2, we added an arcade mode and put trophies on it as well. So we've never had paid expansions, and I don't know that it would be really appropriate for a $10 games to have paid expansions. Maybe it would be, but yeah, I'm just not. I want complete experiences, and if anything, the emphasis on expansions has only pushed me towards putting games off, knowing that they'll be more complete later and that I won't miss anything about them. And even standalone stuff, it's hard to get me back in. That's what happened with Cyberpunk. Like, I thought Cyberpunk was fucking awesome. Like, I thought that game was awesome and so playable and so interesting and so dynamic and so fun. And then the Phantom Liberty stuff comes up, and I'm like, I don't know, man, I'm not really in it anymore. And I know people are like, oh yeah, just play it again and get back into it. I'm like, I just don't want to. It's like, I think it's great. I'm not really in that mode right now. So it makes me want to just kind of delay things a little bit, because it's funny. Like, when I went to play Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, I had not played it on PS5. I played it on PS4. And when Iki Island came out, as we knew at the time, I never went back and played it. So it was cool to be able to do that in the game and to actually integrate the experience too. Because that's the other thing, is like, it's hard to. Mass Effect was like this too, where it would be like missions would pop up that are like expansion missions, and you can kind of integrate them into the entire experience. But if you've beaten the game already, then you're going back and doing this shit, and it doesn't really make any sense. There's like no context for it. I think that's why the second Horizon game had that end game expansion. That was like not so, because I think Iki Island was kind of a little weird, where it's like you're going and doing this wholly other thing, this other place. It's like, I don't know. It kind of breaks the entire experience for me. Jonathan Turner wrote in and said, hello, Sacred Symbols team. I recently had some family over, and with a number of kids in the house, they naturally gravitated towards my retro gaming room. My nephews and little brother jumped on the Xbox 360, while my 4-year-old niece made a beeline straight for the SNES and Super Mario World. Here's where I need guidance. She struggled to clear the very first level. This immediately raised some concerns for me, because I'm fairly certain I was clearing that level at her age with ease, likely while holding a Capri Sun and solving Cold Fusion in my head. My question is simple. Should I continue to love her? Or is it time to quietly cut off the relationship due to this early and troubling lack of platforming fundamentals? Looking forward to your expert advice, and thank you for everything you do and for your donation. Thank you for writing in. You have to nurture this girl, Jonathan. Think about the taste that she exhibited. Your nephews and little brother, as dumb as they are, went to the Xbox 360, and this little 4-year-old girl bypassed all of the bells and whistles and went straight to the SNES. You have to nurture, protect, raise up this little girl, because she has that inherent taste that is she's got that Nintendo taste. She wants to play Super Mario World. I teach her, show her how to play. I was playing games, no doubt, at 4 years old, like at not the highest level in the world, but certainly not. Mario World wasn't out when I was 4, but as an example. So she just has to learn. And she will learn, but you got to teach her. Nurture that little girl, Jonathan. Nurture her, please. And those other, what were they playing on Xbox 360? Geometry Wars?
Nah, man.
Doubt.
Prototype.
Prototype 1.
Or something weird like Blur. I gotta get a 360, man. There's a lot of weird titles on that machine.
The black Xbox 360 like revision is a pretty solid piece of hardware, right? Like, as far as
the 2010 one where
the solid state one.
That's a sexy machine, I gotta say. That's the best Xbox has ever looked. But maybe I'll just make what could it be, like, what is it, $200 maybe max?
Yeah, you can probably even go to GameStop and get one.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that. But,
so yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I don't know if you guys have anything to say. Is that like you should love her.
Teach her.
Don't cut her off.
Teach her. Like, the thing that got my nieces and nephews into it when they were kids was watching me play. So like they would see me play and they'd be like, oh, I want to try. The fact that she made a beeline for it without that, or I guess presumably she's seen you play. Just I don't know, encourage it. You know, it's cool that she even cares.
Yeah.
You know, it's not an iPad.
Right. It's
Right.
not Roblox.
That's what I was going to say.
Right? Yeah. Like, what are you doing?
If you discourage her, you know where she's going next? Roblox, Fortnite. And don't fail like I did. As I mentioned last week with my little cousin that told me we need to stream Steal a Brain Rot in order to get views on our stream. So you have an opportunity here. Don't fuck it up. Or else. And honestly, if she goes to Roblox, you're putting her in danger. You know, there's all those predators on there.
That's
You
a
could
good
be
point.
saving her.
That's a good
True,
point.
Yeah.
So don't be like me and guide properly.
That's a good point.
There's no 45-year-old on mic on Super Mario World.
I'm gonna engineer your child, Dustin, to be the biggest Mega Man fan in the world. Be like, come here, little boy or girl.
Or girl.
Come here, little girl. This is Crash Man from
Crash
Mega Man
Man.
2. These are crash bombs.
I love the naming. That's such straightforward names.
Yeah,
These
it's
are
good
crash bombs.
Crash
Crash Man. I love it. It's good stuff.
Jason Vanover wrote in, said, "Howdy, boys. Don't know if you've tuned in to the season 2 of Fallout, but I'm pretty confident in saying it's eclipsed The Last of Us as the best video game TV show adaptation. Season 1 of The Last of Us notwithstanding, they've absolutely nailed the tone, violence, and dread of the post-apocalyptic wasteland of New Vegas. I was curious to see if you guys have checked it out. I have not, which is weird because I have Amazon, but I'm not that big of a Fallout fan. And I don't know that I like the act. Fallout 3, as I've said specifically, came out at a very specific time where it really enchanted me because I had never played anything like it. Where I was like, what the fuck is this? This is crazy.
Yeah.
I've never played anything like this in my life. And New Vegas was only 2 years later, so it wasn't that far off. And I think New Vegas is an awesome game. But I think by the time Fallout 4 came out in 2015, it definitely had lost its luster for me. And I don't know, I like post-apocalyptic American shit. I mean, that's my stuff, but I don't really like Fallout for that reason. So I think for that reason, I'm not that compelled by it. And yet people speak highly of it. So I'm sure one day, you know, I'll tune in, but I have not watched it yet. Are you guys caught up with Fallout?
There's an episode today that I haven't seen, but I'm caught up with it. I like Fallout. I've always been. I wouldn't call myself like the biggest Fallout fan. Arguably, I've only really beaten Fallout 4. Like I played 3 in New Vegas pretty extensively, but like those games crash and are so like unreliable. It's kind of crazy. So like I've always just been thrown off of those games. I still am playing New Vegas kind of right now, or trying to. But I like the vibe of Fallout a lot. There is something about the atmosphere of like it's like it's a wasteland, and there's like it's Bing Crosby through like kind of like a shitty radio, and like there's like these weird like mental cases running around. Like there's something, I don't know. I dig it. I dig the fusion of survival game, old radio, retro future 1950s. There is something special about it that I think is as a sauce, like I really like. And so I'm into it. I think the show's great. I think the season's actually kind of like, look, I don't want to say the season's bad. I think the season so far is pretty good. It's fun. Like everybody does a good job. I do feel like I'm noticing the Netflix writing though. Like because I feel like there are points that are made. Like there's a character that says basically like you're me. Just give it a little time. And I feel like it's been said at least like maybe twice in every episode. It feels like I could be literally wrong about that, but I'm like this is definitely like. People have their phones out, you know what I mean? And they're writing for those people. And that's kind of bothering me a little bit, but it's a fun show. Like I think easily of the video game adaptations I've seen, it's easily my favorite one. I don't know if it's necessarily better than The Last of Us season 1, but I'm enjoying it more. But I think Fallout lends itself well to that. It's somewhat, it's campy. It's disturbing. It's funny. So it kind of covers a lot of bases. But I'm into it. I like it a lot. I'm excited to watch tonight?
I watched the first episode and I liked it, but I wasn't like, and I watched the first season. So I'm saying I watched the first episode of season 2 and I was like, yeah, it's pretty good. Holly seemed to not really care. And she watched the first season with me. And I got to be honest, when I think about going to hit play or what to watch, I think about the fact that when I click play on Amazon Prime, I'm going to be hit with ads.
Yeah, dude.
And I refuse to spend the $3, which I get it. We preach about YouTube Premium all the time. I almost never watch anything on Amazon, ever. So why would I spend that $3 there? So if I do watch it all, I'll wait until it's all out, spend the $3 and do it for 1 month. And it just, dude, it's so annoying. It's like, dude, you paid for the Prime. Just forego the ad money, boys.
It is insane.
Come on, Jeff. What are we doing?
It is insane. It's the most frustrating thing about watching it. Which is, I mean, to the show's credit, it's not the show's fault, but I hate it too, man. The egregious nature of like, oh, you paid for this. Here's an ad.
Mm-hmm.
You serious?
Yeah, if you want to get rid of that ad, just $2.99.
Yeah,
it's annoying.
You want to die, son?
You want to die?
Giving me an ultimatum like that? Crazy.
Crafton Picard wrote in.
Nice.
Said, sup, fellas. Meta just shut down 4 internal VR studios, which have created some of the biggest AAA VR games like Asgard's Wrath 1 and 2 and Deadpool VR. We all know that Sony has abandoned first-party VR titles, and it looks like it's not even funding third-party VR modes, as Resident Evil Requiem and Ace Combat 8 developers have said there will be no VR modes due to a lack of funding from platforms. Valve has stated that it has no VR game in development. Is VR well and truly dead? Is it over? This makes me quite sad, as I have been a big VR fan for years. RE7 and GT7 have been some of the best gaming experiences of my life. This past year has had some amazing VR titles with Lumines, Midnight's Walk, Arcane Age, Metro Awakening, and Behemoth. I'm worried that it's going to completely die out as a gaming medium with lack of funding and support from platforms. From a technical standpoint, there's so much room to improve, and for a long time that excited me. The Steam Frame is an example of the continually improving tech, but now, without big players spending the big bucks, I just think it's going to die a slow death. Take care, guys. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. First of all, it sucks that Meta shut all those studios down. And we had said earlier in the show that Sanzaru is one of those. Camouflage was another one of those, which was another second party PlayStation partner. They made Iron Man. You guys might remember that came to the original PSVR.
Oh yeah.
So, I feel like I've heard a lot from VR fans saying like it's great, it's good, and people kind of fighting against the trends, and certainly friends of the show that are really into it and even do their own programming around it. And I think it's always going to be this niche thing, especially on PC. I think if people are willing to make the hardware, which there'll always be someone willing to make it, then that works. But I just think and I wonder how you feel about it. Both of you. We'll start with you, Dustin. Is like, I think we can kind of safely say now that the people have spoken. There have just been too many opportunities to buy one at all sorts of different price ranges. Some of them have sold materially and appreciably, but the company that I think was most bullish about VR, which was Meta, is done with it, basically. The metaverse itself is a complete disaster. They spent enormous amounts of billions of dollars wasted on that. They bought all these teams to make games, and the games are good. No one's saying the games aren't good, but they're not commercial successes. There's an inequity between how much money it costs to make these games and then how people are buying them and at what volume they're buying them. And I think some of the biggest VR games on PlayStation probably sell in the tens of thousands. And that's nice, but that's not sufficient. So if anything, I think that we're kind of lucky that Sony hasn't just, if you're a VR fan, that Sony hasn't been like, said just like, fuck this, it's not working and walk away. But I think the big thing I want to reiterate, and Dustin, let's hear from you, is I just feel like people have spoken. They've had different price points. They've had really nice ones, really shitty ones, middle market ones. Look what happened with Apple and their mixed media thing or whatever, mixed reality thing. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's clear that VR is not sustainable for big AAA style development, which is unfortunate. He mentions, or Captain Picard here, Crafton Picard mentions Resident Evil 7 and GT7 being some of the best gaming experiences of his life. And I don't know if it's one of the best of my life, but Resident Evil 7, I'm thinking of Resident Evil 4 in particular, I played all the way through in VR, and it was incredible. And those big AAA games, it's weird because some of them were absolutely amazing, like those conversions of the Resident Evil games. But then there's the Horizon game that is probably the most amount of money that Sony spent on a VR thing, and it just ended up being not very good. It's unfortunate because I think years ago, before PSVR 2 came out, when we were talking about what it needed to be a success, that I was saying it needed IP behind it to really push it. But I guess it needs more than just IP. It needs good games.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying there aren't good games. It's just unfortunate that some of the games that, like that Horizon game, just ended up being not very good. It would have been a cooler game if that was maybe earlier in the VR, like people's experience, because I felt like I was like, yeah, this is cool, but I've had experiences like this in VR before, and it just, ended up not being that great. I still think one of the biggest missed opportunities was not converting more standard games into VR games, because that was initially the thought was like, you can't just take a game that's a normal game and make it a VR game. It wasn't designed for that. It won't work. And I think that was good at first, like good knowledge to be like, you can't just like, because people were trying to taking like the early Oculus and making a Half-Life 2 mod, and you still had to use like a mouse and keyboard, and people were like throwing up because it was just too fast, things like that. So it made sense that the early knowledge was like, do not just convert games into VR. But after a lot of the tricks of what makes a good VR game work in terms of both gameplay and how comfortable it is to play when you're in the headset, once those were learned, there were some amazing conversions. Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 4, also was it Resident Evil 8 also had a conversion. Skyrim in VRs is actually awesome. I wish there would have been more of these, because I think it would have been really compelling to be like, hey, if you buy this game, you can also play it in VR, or there's like a different kind of VR mode. I'm not just saying like some games just were like, here's a VR mode, and it's like this dinky little demo. It's like, no, not that. So unfortunately, in the AAA space, VR for the time being, I would say, is done. I think it will continue to survive, as you were saying, Colin, in the PC space. Mm-hmm. Smaller titles, because it's clear that VR players do buy these games and play them. There's just simply not enough of them for those bigger titles.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's a totally different market, but it's not unlike what we do, in that like we're not a mass market thing. We only exist because we have a small group of thousands of people that pay for the content. But right. It's not a mass market success by any means, and it doesn't mean you can't find a success in that space. And there are developers and publishers that have found great success in the VR space. But yeah, well, Chris, what do you have to say about this? Do you think that people have spoken? Because even though Dustin is saying like there are these great games, I still feel like there are just so many opportunities for people to have jumped on board, and they just didn't.
I think it just all comes down to the fact that it's just never been easier to put on a VR headset than it is to simply turn on the TV. I think that really is all it comes down to, because like ultimately, like when we play games, even us who do it professionally, like we ultimately do it as some form of I don't want to say relaxation exactly, but like we're kind of, we want to settle into an experience, and it's not necessarily this thing that we want to stand up and like, crank our necks around and deal with this kind of awkward, like 45-degree kind of radius turning and all this. There's a lot of problems that you have to solve that can't be solved without massive spaces, like massive rooms dedicated to it, or, omnidirectional treadmills, or like XY. Like there's so much that goes into making that feel natural that doesn't really exist with just this screen. Because I think ultimately what we do in video games, like we're simulating an experience, but like VR is like simulating a simulation of an experience. Like it's very odd. It's like there's like a disconnect there that I don't quite know how to even verbalize, but I feel it. Like I really like Beat Saber is like the crown jewel for me. It's like that is the best game that I've played on VR. Like as a complete package, I'm like, this knows exactly what it is. It understands the limitations of what this technology does. It plays to the strengths of it. and it's just fun. On the other side of that, Boneworks from like 2017 or 2018 is still the most impressive thing I've seen in VR, because that's a game that's like, it's all like everything works the way you think it works. Like if an object does a certain thing in real life, it'll do it here. Like reloading is like, it feels awesome. And I don't discount like how amazing a good VR experience is. It's certainly up there. But what I will say is I've been enchanted with Boneworks for many, many years. I've thought about it on and off a lot as like kind of like a pivotal moment for me. I have access to it. I could download it. I could play it. I haven't played it in 5 years. And this is a game I highly regard. Half-Life Alyx, same thing. I think it's fantastic. I have not booted it up. And it literally is just because like, bro, it's heavy. Like Colin, you kind of have the same experience with me where like it kind of makes my eyes hurt. It kind of like it.
Yeah, it makes me sit. I mean, when I played it, it made me kind of woozy. Yeah,
it doesn't make me feel good. Like I can't do it for as long as I would like to play a game for. Like that's kind of a big thing. Even on screen, on a normal screen, mouse and keyboard controller, whatever, I had to bump off of Oblivion because I was having that memory leak issue that over a while, after long periods of play, like the frame rate becomes so nauseating to me that I feel sick. So like that's strapped around my head, man. It's just kind of a non-starter. And I do think there will be a time where the technology is so streamlined and it's so effectively shrunken. It would be foolish not to believe that, right? Like we have essentially PS4s in our phones now. You know, like you can run a PS4 game ostensibly, like maybe even arguably like PS5 games at like, 30 frames, but you can run them, and they operate on your cell phone. So I have no doubt that eventually we'll get to a space with VR where like, yeah, dude, you can play Half-Life Alyx on your glasses. I have no doubt that will be possible one day, and that'll be amazing. That'll be the time, right? Where if it's ever going to happen, that'll be the time where it'll happen. But the iteration that it takes to get to that point, I fear like people are just not really going to be on board for it, and so it's gonna have to wait until the technology is so obviously there that it would be dumb not to do it. But I don't see that happening for a while. It really is just the convenience aspect. I think that's what it is for most people. I don't know if you agree, but like,
yeah, no, I do agree. I think one thing that I'm fascinated by is, and it goes into this point, is more like an augmented reality situation. I feel like do you guys see these videos of like these gameplay experiences in various places, like, kind of like hot lava style floor games and all these different things where people are jumping around or whatever. I can imagine larger warehouse style things like that with like lots of tech and augmented reality scenarios where it becomes more about the experience of going out, like playing Topgolf or something.
Yeah,
and
like an arcade or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like just going out, and then you have the more basic screen level stuff that goes on with normal video games in home. I feel I just want to two things I want to say is like I want to reiterate that I think we're kind of lucky that we had so much runway with this tech, because I don't think the sales were necessarily ever there, and I think that the companies and the powers that be saw something special in it. The fact that Sony gave us another one is a sign that they were like, there's more here, and I appreciate that, especially as a tech company. I think that's really cool. I'll also say that I've had really amazing experiences too on VR that I think it's an old story now, but as I said, but the first time I was at the first time I played VR, I was at E3, and it was Valkyrie, and I was like, this is insane. Like, I can't believe how awesome this is. And that's like a very rudimentary old game. And even when I was playing Arizona Sunshine last year before I was like getting sick by it, which is another old game, I'm like, this is super cool. Yeah. I want to like it. I'm not aghast about liking VR. It's what you said. It doesn't fit into the way I do things. I feel lazy. I sit down, I sigh into the couch or into my recliner, and then I have to put on a headset, and I have to stand up, and I have to charge the things, and I have to put the fucking wristbands on and do all that, and then I have to calibrate it. And it's like, I'm not doing this. Like, this is annoying. And I understand it's the nature of the beast. It's just not something I'm interested in. But I also want to say that I know that there are many people out there, we hear from them, we've done shows with them, that really love and champion this space. it's not for lack of trying, and it's not for lack of good shit. I just think sometimes things don't work.
Dude, I invested heavy. I got in 20, I want to say 18, but like maybe even earlier than that, maybe 2017, I got an HTC Vive. And that was when it was fucking expensive to do it. You know, like that had like base stations that you had to drill into the corners of your room to like sense where the headset was, and it had like this really long cable, and I fucking loved it. It was awesome. But like, I mean, you know, at a certain point, like I look at it, I have a what is it, the MetaQuest, and I have it sitting there, and I'm like, I have this like fantasy about using it, you know, where I'm like, but like the fantasy is always like, wouldn't it be great if I felt like I wanted to set this up?
Right, I agree.
Like that's the fantasy. It's not even the fantasy of using it. It's the fantasy of like being in the mood to even want to try, and that's a hard thing to get past. You got to make it easy, man. And eventually it will be easy, by the way. I think that will happen.
Yeah. I
it's
think
going to be a while, though.
It probably will. I am always, as far as AR is concerned, I always think about this old Microsoft presentation of them playing Minecraft, I think, or something.
On like AR. A table, right?
Yeah, on a table, right. And I was like, this is way cooler, I think, actually, than making it as low impact on the player as possible should be the ideal, right? I mean, so if you're able to kind of get this spectral whatever into your living room, I think that's actually more interesting. So, but that was HoloLens or whatever. They kind of walked away from that as well. But anyway, final inquiry comes from Caleb Greer, who says, "Greetings, gentlemen. When we talk about extraction shooters and the phenomenon of the extraction gameplay loop, does Sea of Thieves get enough credit? While not precisely an extraction shooter in that you're not extracting gear for future deployment, the game does center around PvPvE loot extraction. You can even lose your reward multipliers upon death that another team can pick up and sell, your emissary flag. You can befriend players through in-game voice chat, join a formal or informal alliance, betray them for greater hauls, camp outposts to steal loot when people try to turn it in, barter, and so on. Thoughts? Thank you for your time." I'm not familiar enough with this game, but I did want to talk about it. A lot of people are playing it on PlayStation. You have something to say, Chris, about this?
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that, actually. Like there is an extraction kind of element, or especially like specific, maybe not extraction element. There obviously objectively is, but that element exists in like the Division as well. But the voice chat, like the proximity chat aspect of it, is definitely like a big part of Sea of Thieves, and that's a good point. I hadn't really connected those dots, but there's a reason why that game is huge. You know, I loved Sea of Thieves. Like it's not a game that I can play all the time forever, but like once every like year or two, like I get like a message where it's like, you want to hop on Sea of Thieves? And I always do it. And it's always a great time. Like it's such a weird game, and it's gorgeous in a lot of ways. Like that water is I think the water in Sea of Thieves is still kind of the most impressive water I've seen in any video game, honestly. But that's it. There's something to be said about that there is kind of an extraction loop in that game.
What do you think, Dustin?
Yeah, I feel like I never gave Sea of Thieves enough of a chance because I played it a little bit when it came out. And
well, Ben loves it, right? He's really
into it. Oh yeah, Ben super into it. When it first came out, it was pretty light on content, and this is for years now. It has been way, way, way better than when it first came out. But I am intrigued more by it now after having this realization about proximity voice chat and how fun it can be. So who knows? Maybe I'll give it another shot. Maybe would this be a good sacred stream where the boys play Sea of Thieves for the first time? But the key, I think, is that, well, Chris, you have more experience than Colin and I.
If
we just went in, how many people, Dean? Is it 3-person teams?
Yeah, it's 3. I think you can do 4, but like you can do
3 or 4.
But 3 or 4 is ideal. That would be funny.
That might be kind of fun. That might be a little more low key than Arc Raiders, Colin. Yeah. Like we can just go and dick around in there and drive sail the ship around.
Yar. We'll probably drive it because I'll bring it onto the land.
Yeah.
No doubt.
True.
Yeah.
Stranded on a beach somewhere.
That's fun, man. Like I do remember like a lot of voice chat oriented situations in the game that I'm like, man, I had a blast. It's gameplay. It's very light. It still is, even this many years out. Like as far as I remember, like I played it pretty late after all the updates, and there wasn't really a lot. It's more sandbox oriented, so there's a lot of tools you can use. But you as a character, you can't really do much. But Yeah, man. That's what a different lens to view that game through. I think I might load it up with that mindset, and I just see where that takes me.
Cool. Report back.
Game.
Let us know.
Yeah.
All right, my friends. That's it. That's all we have for this episode of Sacred Symbols, a PlayStation podcast. Let's go around the horn and say goodbye to everyone. Chris, goodbye to you. You're now off to World Way, so enjoy yourself.
We're actually out a little bit earlier than I anticipated. We're out earlier than we normally are.
Yeah. So it was a shorter episode this week. There's not that much news, dude. If the God of War casting didn't happen, there would have been almost nothing to talk about.
Yeah. So I got some time to kill before my trek, but yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling like I think I want a grilled cheese. I think I'll make myself a grilled cheese. I haven't had a grilled cheese in a long time.
Love grilled cheese.
Yeah.
Love it.
Sounds good.
It's such a high quality food. All right, we'll be safe. Have fun. Dustin, goodbye to you. Be well. Anything to say?
The Furmans are light on groceries right now, so I think the plan is to go to Chipotle tonight.
Oh.
And
cool.
This pleases me. Pleases me greatly, though I have discovered. So I've talked bad about the Butler Chipotle many times. When we come home from Pittsburgh for Holly's appointments on Tuesdays, there's Chipotle on the way home.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was kind of a big mistake stopping there because it made me realize
how good you had it.
It's no.
Oh, how bad! I'm sorry. How
so much better.
Oh, interesting. Now, did you look up the reviews and then cross reference? Do the people agree?
I have not done that. The thing about this Chipotle, it's the Pittsburgh Mills Chipotle, which is a dead mall that has all this surrounding infrastructure. But so the mall's dead, but there's all this other stuff. Every time I've been there, it looks like a fucking disaster. The garbage cans are overflowing. Oof. There's dirty tables, but damn, the food hits at that Chipotle. But to be honest, the Butler one, in terms of its cleanliness and upkeep, not much better. So it is what it is. We're supposed to get a Chick-fil-A in Butler in the next year. There's like a spot for it, and it's already been in the paper and stuff that's going to happen. So
interesting.
When that happens, it's game over for my health.
People are so into Chick-fil-A here that they just built one on the other side of the road, basically like a mile up from like where that other one is. And they're both just always so crowded. I love Chick-fil-A, but I just don't go to it anymore because it's like I'm kind of over it. You know? It's how I felt about In-N-Out in California, where after a while I'm like, I don't need to do this anymore. I'm here. I can just do it whenever. It's not that special.
Yeah.
But and it's just always so fucking crowded. I just don't understand what people are doing. But are you going to do the based Colin burrito plus quesadilla order?
No.
You don't have what it takes?
No, I'll probably get a bowl tonight because I've been eating healthier, save a little calories on the wrap, even though it is so good. Yeah, the tortilla.
They got a good tortilla there, man. Sometimes I get a side tortilla just to fucking eat it.
Oh yeah, I love tortillas on the side,
like
dude.
Like a pig.
Good shit. Love that. That was my favorite thing about going to like real taquerias and burrito shops in San Francisco, especially was I'm sure it's in LA too. Is like you go to one of these mom and pop places and they're making corn tortillas that they'll just give you on the side in the little thing, like the plastic thing that you take the top off. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so fucking good.
It's great.
Love that.
Great shit.
Love Mexican food. All right, guys, goodbye. I'm going to go. It's cold out. It's like 30 degrees out. I'm going to go walk the dogs and then work out and hang out. I think got some hockey games around tonight. So do all of this, play Mega Man. But be well, be safe. Thank you all out there for your love, kindness, and support as well. Hope you are all doing good out there too. Thank you for your support. Patreon.com/LastStandMedia for early ad-free access. LastStandMedia.store for merch. We'll see you next time. Until then, goodbye.
See ya.
Take care, guys.
Sacred Symbols, a PlayStation podcast, is a product and trademark of Last Stand Media and Colin's Last Stand LLC, and is proudly recorded in the USA. The show is conceived by, is written by, and is directed by me, Colin Moriarty. My co-hosts are Chris Raygun Maldonado and Dustin Furman. The show is produced by executive producer Dustin Furman. All of Last Stand's theme music is by my best friend, Ramon Narvaez. As you know, all of Last Stand's shows, including Sacred Symbols, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer level on Patreon, our highest tier, and we're grateful for your thoughtful and kind contributions to our independent endeavor. Thank you.